Ayla and other women, and they were saying, see, this is why Brittany doesn't know what she's talking about, because she's not over her rape. But if you've never been traumatized by rape, then you don't know how to get over the traumatization of rape.
Oh, yeah, shit. Now she's gonna...
Destiny, which government policies do you suggest to control the spread of Islam? I know liberals in France passed the hijab ban, so that might be a start.
I don't know, dude. Go to 9 minutes? I don't know. There is no 9 minutes. Let's see. 136 is where it starts. So what? I should go to like 127?
Never forget YTJ. Destiny DGGL.
Things happen the way they happen.
Destiny
even though I'm
DGGL.
as confused
Destiny
about them as I
DGGL.
think the internet is. Okay, does that make sense? Yes? Is everybody happy with that? Okay. So, we all want to hear your thoughts about the Destiny attack on you. Let's like reframe that and say that Destiny has an opinion about me more than he attacked me. I can't say the same for some of his viewers, but let's just say Destiny just has an opinion about me. Does it get us a sub too? I don't know what that means. What's a sub? Like on YouTube sub, or is that different? I don't know all the internet terminologies. Okay, so with that said, I'm gonna go off. And then if you guys have comments and questions, you can. It's hard to know where to start, but I think I'm gonna follow my notes pretty religiously. I guess as a disclaimer, I will say, okay. As a disclaimer, I'm having a really hard time breathing today. I'm sorry. Been moving a lot of stuff, so my body's out of whack. But as a disclaimer, I will say, because Steven, Destiny, has blocked me and doesn't want to talk to me, it would be inappropriate for me to reach out to him. So this is not me reaching out to him. This is me as a content creator.
I don't really like her saying that, like, she's not going to reach out to me because she blocked me. The reason why I blocked her was because at the end of her stream, she said if I had an issue with anything, she said I can go to her privately, but she didn't want to be farmed publicly. But it was after she already farmed me publicly. To be clear, that's why I blocked her. At that point, it's like, okay, fuck you.
Listen, buddy. I'm acting above 50 with you. You better just stop interacting with fucking mentally ill woman. It's fun, we've all been there. But this Brittany shit. I don't know, bro.
My own platform, doing my own thing, explaining myself to my audience and the people who are curious about the situation from
I
my
just
perspective.
realized I was a white name for a few minutes. I felt disgusting. Bring my blue shade back. Bonus meme DGGL.
I will not contact Destiny. I will not use his wife to contact him. I will not use his friends to contact him. The core belief that I hold the most, the foundation for all my values, is consent. And so even though consent can't be perfect, because on a spectrum, what is consent, right? If I'm gay and it hurts my mom's feelings, is that consent? It's like, in this situation, Destiny made it clear he doesn't want to talk to me, so I'm not going to talk to him. I can understand if he changes his mind. I'm open to discussing, as content creators, our disagreements on the internet in a healthy way. But if he would like to negotiate our friendship, I think that's less appropriate to do it on the internet. Now, I'll explain all these things in detail now. But with that said, please respect Destiny's consent. Obviously, I don't have to tell my audience not to go bother him. They never do that to people. But, you know, just disclaimer, if you're new to my audience, we don't really go on other people's channels to talk about them. Okay, so first and foremost, what I think happened. A huge misunderstanding or a miscommunication that led to a misunderstanding, whether it was on my part or on his or just within our different language bubbles. It could just be a simple misunderstanding.
One thing I don't like about her bubble thing is I feel like sometimes she's using these bubble things to avoid taking accountability or responsibility for anything. Like, basically, you can hurt somebody severely and they go like, oh, that's just a difference in bubbles.
Steven and broke. I know what I have to do.
I feel like it's a dumb way of just avoiding all types of accountability. But yeah, I think it's really dumb.
I think on the internet, people assume what content creators are doing here. And I think that Steven also assumes what I'm doing here. And I'm consistently befuddled at what people think I'm doing on the internet. I am a content creator who loves to make content. And I love to talk to people. And I have theories and ideas about the world. But I don't really want to be taken too seriously. I don't want to be a thought leader. And I don't want to be somebody who says she has the answers for 8 billion people or even the general public. So my work is predicated on working with the individual. I am not working with groups of people. I am working with individuals who get to tell me their stories, and we get to decide, me being the whiteboard and them being the decider of their life, how to move forward in a more optimistic manner if that's what they're calling me for or coming to my channel for. I'm also a YouTuber in the sense that people just watch me to watch me for fun. They don't take me seriously, they don't believe in the levels, they don't care about my work, and I'm just a normal content creator. I like that too. I think when you have an overlap with the audience, your friends who watch you and then know you in real life, and then the friends you make online, there's just like a lot of lines that get blurred. So from my perspective, Steven is a...
You also use bubbles in that way when you bring up your loud Latino family screaming matches. First of all, my Latino family, I guess, my Cuban family has a Latino family. I'll only ever say that to explain like differences in communication style, but there is, sometimes people use explanations to explain why things are happening. Other times I feel like they use them as shields from criticism or harassment. Like I would never go up to somebody and like scream like, what is happening up here? Oh, you're a fucking moron, you're a piece of shit. And they'd be like, oh, sorry, that's just how my Latino family communicates. I would never do that, right?
Considerate person, relatively speaking. He's good at boundaries when it comes to not overstepping them with most people, or at least with me. I'll say it with me. So in relation to Steven and myself, Steven has always been a consistent person, consistently available and unavailable in different ways. He's expressed to me throughout our time together that he has very specific ways of doing friendships, as do I, and we are keeping a very, in my opinion, superficial relationship happening. But I think in his opinion, it might have been or felt a little deeper. There is a huge miscommunication happening here, and I think that that's what I mostly want to tackle here is the miscommunication. So to me, he's been a very nice person, completely appropriate in DMs, appropriate when we've been on stream together. Some people have even told me like, oh, I don't like the way he like yells at you or is upset when you're around or expresses himself that way. And I've just explained that is just how Destiny is. It's not personal. Steven does not have to change the way he talks when I'm on stream with him. Just like I don't want to change the way I talk when I'm on stream with him, right? I do kind of, his audience tends to get a little sensitive and triggered around the word bubble. So I've tried to make a conscious effort not to use it around them because it seems to upset them. But at the same time, it's really difficult when I'm in my own bubble and I'm hopping to his bubble. So I understand that Destiny does not want to speak differently to me, nor am I asking him to. So I've really appreciated his like work in that regard. I think Steven is a good person.
Thanks, bud.
Who does toxic things, but that's okay because that's his life. Lots of us do toxic things. I've been in toxic relationships before. I'd like to think I'm toxic clean, but I have friends that are toxic. It's just, everyone's on their own journey, right? So I'm not saying Steven is abusive. Steven has never been abusive to me, right? But Steven and I aren't close enough for him to abuse me. One of my strongest beliefs is that the kind of abuse that can happen between friends only happens in particular ways. So Steven has not abused me or our friendship. Steven, on his last stream where I was streaming at the same time, surprisingly to me, a shock to me, was hurt, stressed, and under pressure and blew up on me in a way that was incredibly inappropriate. But I understand with the Mr. Redacted article coming out why he might feel on edge. But I am not a Mr. Redacted, nor am I other characters on the internet. I am a Brittany. And Brittany is very specific. I am transparent and I am clear about what I'm doing here. I am here to work with individuals and to just enjoy making content. I am a content creator, right? So one of the misunderstandings that I think was occurring that really did bother me is that I very transparently and very honestly and without shame admitted that I was triggered via PTSD, my first initial call with Destiny about the rape stuff, right? I admitted that. I'm not ashamed to say I'm having a heart attack, nor am I ashamed to say that I'm medically triggered. My PTSD was out of whack that day, and I apologized and I made it clear. The dilemma is that Steven and his audience and the people around me decided to ignore my transparency and decide I was instead borderline triggered, that I was splitting, that I was miscalculating things, that it's my borderline that's causing me to be out of the norm. I already said it was my PTSD. I know myself well enough to know the differences between my triggers. I've been in remission or recovery for 3+ years on borderline. I'm considered high functioning, and my therapist was very impressed with the fact that I could hold down jobs, that most of my friends never knew I was sick, that my family members, even though they saw me being sick, saw me also hustling in life and thought there's no way she has a mental illness. But when I got diagnosed, everything became clear and I got better. So I'm 3 years into not being manic, not having suicidal ideations, not actually wanting to die. I've been 3 years clean of splitting and misunderstanding people, but I am human, so I might normal misunderstand people, right? So if I'm a person and I'm upset and I'm misunderstanding someone, because I've now come out with my borderline, everyone's always going to blame Brittany's borderline for the misunderstanding. But I think there's a misunderstanding happening here. So how can I feel safe in a space where my close friend and his audience have decided my borderline is upset and not the PTSD associated with my rape that I clearly stated in the original video or the original call, right? Okay, so that's what's confusing there. It's confusing to have to interact with the internet or people and have them literally ignore you. So, okay. So there's that. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to interact with that group, and I'm not sure what's appropriate moving forward, but I think it is inappropriate to say that this is related to my borderline or that I'm splitting or that I want people to think the way I think. I don't want people to think the way I think. My work is predicated on proving that we do not share the same reality, that we are thinking different.
Does this feel like she's shielding herself from criticism by saying it's my mental illness? No, everything she said so far is pretty fair, I think. I don't think Destiny ever blamed her BPD for the situation. No, but some people have said that she's like splitting or, you know, borderline or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I don't know enough about borderline, honestly. And I don't know. I think everything she's done so far can be explained by being ultra triggered by that rape conversation. I don't know if she's like, yeah.
Friendly, that no one thinks the same. My work is predicated on the individual, that regardless of statistics and generalizations, individuals can surpass those expectations, and therefore I want to work with those individuals, right? So when I haven't seen much of Steven's streams after. I did unsubscribe because now it feels really creepy to watch him as a content creator when I'm not, you know, seemingly like welcome in that space. So that seems kind of strange. The content's not quite, it doesn't make sense for me to watch it right now. But what I did see of him, what I did see of Melina and Kyla and stuff trying to explain it to him, is I saw a complete misunderstanding of what's happening, of not only my work, but the way I think about life and friendship. So as an example, I don't consider us close friends, but I know Destiny considered me one. And I think that's a really lovely gesture, but incredibly inappropriate. As in private, we've only talked less than 6 hours of time, right? I don't have much information about him personally. I
don't think any of this has to do with me considering her like a close friend. Just that she was like close enough that I didn't think she would like go nuclear on me. But I don't know if she's ever called me a close friend. I mean, she was a close-ish friend, but I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, like Brittany's coming to like me and Melina's weddings or something, you know? But
you know what he's told me.
Actually, we might have. I have no idea. I don't know. But I don't think how close we evaluate each other as friends has anything to do with any of this. But
the time when Steven and I talked personally, it was a chance for him to explore ideas about himself. It didn't really feel like a full exchange yet. It felt like we were still at the baby steps of being friends. So for me, I thought we were still on a journey of becoming friends, but it kind of feels like to him we were already close friends. But to me, that didn't make any sense. If you know me, I have a hierarchy of friendship. Inner circle, inner outer circle, everyone else. So inner outer circle is where Destiny could have landed. He was never an option to be a very close friend to me because I don't have room in my inner circle. I already have everyone in my life that I need to take care of, and I already negotiate with all my friends. I've made it clear online. I can't be your close friend.
She said you were a close friend 3 minutes ago?
You can be someone who tells me things, if that's what you would like to do, but it's not the same thing as being a close, mutual, symbiotic friendship, right? So I think there's just like a really big misunderstanding here, which I'm not putting blame on anyone for, but I am saying is a problem. Because according to how I saw our friendship, it doesn't match how Destiny saw it. That's why I was always so confused when he would say, like, I'd give you my bank number. And I'm like, why? You don't even have my phone number. Like, Destiny doesn't have my phone number.
What? I've never understood this. I know that this is normal for everybody else, and I don't understand why phone numbers are more personal than any other form of communication. Girls do this all the time. I've never understood it. But also, it wasn't that I'm giving my bank number. It's just that this is a person I relatively trust in my life. I don't know how she could have missed the point of that conversation so hard. But like, it's such a weird thing. But
you know what I'm saying? So I think there's like
like she'll say like, you didn't have my phone number. Yeah, that's true. But like we hung out for like I think 2 or 3 days when you and Abba were here, like in person, like you just like slapped me on my stream. I felt like we had a more personal relationship than just trading phone numbers. Like I'm pretty sure I could have asked her for her phone number and she probably would have given it to me. Like we've called and chatted before. It was just over Discord. Like it's such a weird, that's like such a retarded way to like set a boundary for a friendship. Like, did we have a phone number? Like, I don't know. It's like so weird. But I don't know. Some people feel really strong about like numbers or whatever. Yeah.
Real misunderstanding that we are closer than we are. For me, friendship is earned. For me, friendship is over a long time or a short time with an understanding of how close that can be. For me, it's like, I can imagine where he's coming from, but I can't quite relate to it. I have too many friends, right? So in my inner outer circle, I have like hundreds of friends. I've been a YouTuber for 12 years. I have so many contacts, so many YouTubers who know me, so many people. I have the Walmart clerk thinks she's my friend. My accountant thinks she's my friend. Like everyone thinks they're my friend. And they tell me things about their life and I sit there and I listen. And so I understand why that feels like there's a symbiotic relationship happening. But I'm pretty private and I don't share a lot. I share what I can, right? So I'm open to any questions in regarding anything that I've spoken about privately. So again, I'm not attacking Steven, but I think there's an incredibly inappropriate attachment thing he has to people who have come into his life and now they're like close friends.
Is she trying to describe me as obsessed? am I misreading what she's saying here? Or is that like the framing that she has on this, that I am like obsessed with her? Okay, interesting.
And so I just want to say for the record, from my perspective, he's a man that I've known for a year, that I've streamed with multiple times, but in our private lives, we've spoken less than 6 hours, and we do not have a close relationship, but I'm glad he feels safe or did feel safe with me. I think his original judgment of me was right, that I am based and I am reasonable, and I do know myself. But the problem is that I am also a content creator who makes work, and him and I became friends, but he's also content, right? So there's a little bit of a misunderstanding about how streamers make content about each other, and so I want to get into that as well. But that kind of coincides to how I think about like Sneeko and everything else. I've talked to Sneeko about the same amount, right? I've talked to him a few times in private, not a lot. Enough though to understand.
Wait, she's not gonna hand the same amount as me, and she simps so hard for him. Wait, what the fuck? I'm so confused. Well, the way that she talked about Sneeko, I thought they spoke like fucking every week on the phone or something. I'm so confused. Okay.
Understand some version of him that is different, maybe, than the online world sees. Same with Steven. There's a version of him that I've seen in private that I really like, that is not quite on the internet, and then some parts of him I've seen that I'm like not excited about, but that's okay, no big deal. So I'm a little confused on how Steven could have miscalculated our friendship so severely. I'm so confused on how he could misunderstand my content so severely, except he did admit to me in stream that he doesn't watch my content. So I've been criticizing Steven's relationship and his work for about a year now, because he's a public figure and what is on the internet is what I've criticized, right? So I am a person who advocates for open relationships, polyamorous relationships. I really believe all relationships work for somebody. So I'm a big proponent of monogamy. I'm a big fan of open relationships, and I think there's a healthy way to do them. I don't think him and Melina have ever exhibited a healthy version of an open relationship, and I think they're doing it incorrectly for a healthy version. But you are allowed to be dysfunctional. And dysfunctional for me, for Brittany, my opinion, means constant and consistent miscommunication, belittling of partners, right? They both insult each other, cheating, active cheating, and no remorse. So there are a lot of components here in these relationships that are public that to me are obviously dysfunctional. But you are allowed to consent to a dysfunctional relationship. I've done it in the past. You think you're going to save them, you think they'll get better, you think they'll grow out of it, whatever your reasons, I think that's fair. So if he doesn't want his relationship to be criticized online, he's got to stop putting it out there, because that is the content creation catch-22 of us being content creators. Now, if he told me personally, do not talk about my relationships, that would have been one thing. But I have a live stream that Destiny and I were on where I do remember him telling me, as long as it's on the internet, I can talk about it. So I genuinely didn't think I was doing a bad thing when
I don't understand, like, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm the ultimate empath, and maybe I am the only empathetic person, and everybody else is actually autistic. Maybe I'm trying to figure this out. So here's what I'm thinking in my head. Maybe I need to spell this out more for people, but I don't think I should. I don't think I need to. She's saying, Destiny says that if something is public about his life, I'm free to talk about it. Those are the words that are coming out of her mouth. But the idea that she's communicating is, you said this thing is public, so I can have any opinion that I want about it. That's not the same thing. So for instance, if Brittany were to say, oh yeah, like I'm very public about my OnlyFans, if you want to talk about it, that's fine. If I were to go on my stream and say like, oh, I think Brittany is an ugly fucking piece of shit and I hate her hair, right? If she were to say like, hey, that was really hurtful. Why did you go in on me like that? And I were to go, oh, well, you said that if your OnlyFans is public, I think I can talk about anything. You're not communicating the same idea there, right? It's like, that's like not the same thing. If she wants to make comments about my relationship, like technically nothing that she's even said so far is actually wrong. Me and Melina do have a relatively dysfunctional relationship. We have had a lot of crazy shit happen. We probably don't exhibit the most healthy. Fuck, there's a 10-year age gap between us. It's my first open relationship. It's probably Melina's first real relationship, right? Technically, nothing she's saying is really not true. But the constant comparisons to like my internet adversary, whose like entire field calls me like a cuck and goes in on me, and who he kind of goes in on me a little bit. And then the constant like derisive comments made and like this condescending tone makes everything feel a little bit different. Right? So for instance, like I think her relationship is a little bit crazy. The fact that she's met this guy for such a short amount of time and she's ready to uproot her whole life and go live with him, that's kind of crazy. I think the way that I just said that right now is understandable. It's okay. And if she were to watch me say that, I think she would agree. She'd be like, yeah, it is pretty non-traditional. It is pretty crazy, but yeah, I'm trying it. That's fine. But I could say that another way, where it's like, I don't know why she would charge money for people to take any bit of advice from her ever when she's doing one of the most horrible relationship things ever. And when this blows up in 5 years, I hope she loses all of her clients for being clueless. Right? I could say this essentially the same thing, but that way. And I think she would have a huge problem with the latter and not the former, right? I don't know how she doesn't understand that. Saying that like, well, it's public so I can comment on it doesn't mean that you can say whatever you want about it. That's like not. That's just, I don't understand how I don't know if I need to spell that out more. If I'm not autistic here. Either all of you are autistic and I'm hyper empathetic, or I don't know. That's a difficult one for, I don't understand. I don't know what's happening there. If she's like kind of coping or trying to shirk responsibility or something, or if I truly don't understand that. I'm not sure. That's really weird for me, but.
And I was talking about it. And I think if you went back and watched that stream a couple of times, you would really see that I wasn't trying to really attack him. I was trying to give my opinion about a public relationship that
That's not true though. Especially with like the random, like, oh, like he has noodle arms compared to Sneeko, who's so fucking buff and I could beat him up. Like, this is not an analysis. It's not data for your audience. It's not commentary. It's literally just taking shots at me. That's all that is. There's nothing of value there beyond like personal attacks, which is fine if you want to do it. But like, obviously we're going to be enemies if that's where we're going. I think you don't portray that to people that with the words you use. Yeah, but now I'm trying to think like, do I really need to say that? I don't know if I want to live in this world. Or I do. I just won't have any friends. But I think I'm okay with that. Like I do well with like a relatively low number of friends. I don't know if I want to be surrounded by people that I have to make that explicit to. I really don't think I'd want to. I think I'm okay having like 3 friends and that's fine. Like if I have to tell somebody like, hey, if you go on stream, like don't like roast the fuck out of me and make like a ton of personal insults. Like I don't think I ever want to have that conversation with somebody. Yeah, I just don't think I want to. I'm not sure. I don't think I ever want to have that conversation with somebody. Like if you do that, that's fine. We're just not gonna be friends. Like
it has public discourse, right? Which is my content. So
you always say you don't care, so people assume it's fine. I know it's dumb. Okay, but when I say I don't care about comments made about me online, like maybe I need to spell this out more. I don't know. When I say I don't care about comments made, what I mean is that like these things do not leave deep emotional scars in me when people attack me, right? I'm relatively impervious to that. I've got a lot of resiliency there. But like if Erudite came on stream and she was like, yeah, we stayed with Nick and Melina, and I just like, Steven was actually a huge fucking asshole. Pretty sure he would have raped me if Nick wasn't there. And when we went climbing, he barely spoke to me and he was just a huge fucking piece of shit. Like if Erudite said that, I'd be kind of like, oh, well, that's pretty fucked. I'm a little upset about that. That sucks you think that. If she were to say something like, well, you said that nothing online bothered you. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean when you said it? You said nothing online bothered you, right? You said nothing, like, is that really how we're taking that comment? Is that what we're taking that to mean? Or like if Melina goes on stream and she's like, God, I wish I would have stayed with my fucking other friends in fucking New Zealand. Like Steven is a fucking asshole piece of shit. And I'm like, Melina, bro, we're married. Why would you say that? And she's like, you said that nothing online hurts you. Are you lying? Did you lie about that? Did you misrepresent that? You have to understand you're being incredibly unclear when you say nothing hurts you. Like that's, I don't know if I actually have to spell that out or not. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm making way too many assumptions about people. I don't know. That in my mind, that's a relatively. The thing is that like when I'm fighting with people, maybe I should spell this out more. When I'm fighting with people, in my mind, I'm hyper aware of so many different boundaries that exist at any given point in time. Like name a person. Like with Erudite, if I'm talking to Erudite and we're joking a lot, I'm probably not going to make any jokes about her background, about her being a virgin before Nick, about Nick and her having, I think they said publicly that they had like a rocky relationship for a while. Probably not going to make any jokes about her job right now because President Sunday is going in on it. Probably going to stay away from appearance jokes just because for women it's generally not a good thing to do. Probably not going to be ultra heavy flirty because our relationship, like there are all of these things that I keep in mind for how I engage with people. There are some things I will go really hard on, like maybe, like you stream on a lot of different platforms, maybe orbiter jokes, maybe joking a little bit about her gymming with Nick, maybe joking about like her rock climbing stuff with Nick, maybe joking about like showing up on red pill shows or being a pick me maybe, right? Things that I think she's a bit more scared. Like I feel like I'm hyper aware of like all of these things when I'm interacting with people. But then I feel like when people come into my orbit, they're like, oh, nothing bothers you? I think you're a shitty father. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, well, you joke about things with people all the time, and you said that nothing online bothers you. And I'm like, I don't know if do I have to like explicitly, I just don't know. I'm not really sure. I feel like when I'm arguing with people, like even with Lav, and when I was like shitting with Lav, like when we were closer, like I'm not gonna make fun of her for our sexual interaction. I'm not gonna make fun of her for anything relating to her husband. Probably not gonna go in on her for things related to her mom or her relationship there. Probably not gonna dig into her for anything related to OnlyFans or sex work. Right now, past our blowout, all of this shit is fair game because fuck her. But like even when I'm friends with Lav, same thing with Mr. Girl too. When we were friends, like I feel like when I'm interacting with people, there are all of these different types of boundaries where it's like I'll go really hard on you, but it's gonna be on some shit that I know is not gonna hurt you, right? So with Live, it might be like her attitude. It might be the fact that she can be like super cunty sometimes. It might be the fact that she, tweets out a lot of shit and fights people back when we were friends, not after we were enemies, right? Or with Max, I might make fun of like his art shit, about being a pedophile, about having edgy opinions, but I'm not gonna go on like his relationship with his dad, Sorry, I like maybe I could do this for every single person that comes on stream. For every single person that comes on stream, there are things when Dan is on stream. Okay. Well, hold on. I don't want to. Okay, hold on. Now I just realized a bad idea. I don't want to name all these things because now if there's assholes in the audience, they're going to go in on like everything that they think is the most vulnerable spot of somebody. But like, I'm just saying, like when I interact with people, there are so many things. Like I'm not going to touch these things because I know that like it's going to hurt you a lot if I do this. Like this is an area that you are either lacking confidence in, or it's a sore spot, or something that like is genuinely harmful or hurtful to you. I know all of these things. I'm always aware of these things. And I expect other people to kind of be as well. So like if you were interacting with Destiny, what are some things that you can make fun of me for? Stuff related to streaming, stuff related to going AFK a lot, getting banned all the time from platforms, being too edgy, wanting to murder people, whatever. This is like all fine, Even like maybe fighting with Melina. If you know me a little bit better, you can go like, oh, don't you like fight with Melina? That's fine. But same thing is like anything relating to my son. I don't really wheel him out on the internet much at all. I post stories sometimes when I hang out with him. Like actually going in on my relationship with Melina, like to say that it's actually like horrible or dysfunctional or whatever. Comparing my body to other guys is like a little bit weird. I feel like body stuff, unless it's like something that I'm joking with, like a gym flare in stream chat, maybe like Hillshire or Gojo or whatever. Like I feel like there are some things where it's like it's kind of obvious that this is like a thing you probably just shouldn't go in on, but Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might just be insane. I don't know if these are. My assumption is everybody knows these things, but I guess it's not true because when people copy, like a lot of people say that I neg people, or some people copy my style of negging, and then when I watch them do it, they're just mean to people. And I'm like, I'm actually really never mean to somebody that I'm like friendly with on stream. You might see me banter a lot, and you might see me go really hard on somebody, but it's always in some shit where it's like it's not like I'm not actually like trying to make them sad or upset. Like me and Lily or me and Alexandria Botez. We bantered a lot, and it's really hard. We go really hard, but it's not on some like shit that I think is actually going to make them, feel bad, right? I would never do that. I never do that. I don't want anybody to feel bad that I'm like joking with that way. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know what I don't know if these are things I need to be more explicit about. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm not sure. Also, to be clear on all of this, as I say all of this, there are going to be times where I probably make mistakes. There are times where I've leaned into a topic and I didn't realize it was really sensitive for somebody on stream. There are going to be times where I make a joke that actually does hit somebody in a wrong way, and I don't know. And like when I called Lava bitch, right? I didn't think that she would get that upset at it because she throws around a lot of language. And I DM'd her and I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I won't call you a bitch if that's like something that actually genuinely upsets you. Like I'll DM somebody and I'll apologize for it if I really feel like I crossed a line. And so I expect with other people, there could be times where they cross the line with me too, where it's like, hey, this is not cool to make a TikTok clip of me being a rapist. I'm just kidding. It's like I don't. It's not cool when you like do this particular type of joke. Like it's kind of like hurtful or whatever. But I feel like with my boundaries are so small. Like you have to go pretty hard on me to feel like you're doing something really inappropriate. Because most of the shit in my life I'm okay to joke about. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know.
Again, I don't mind. I don't have to cover Steven again. I really believe they're good people, Melina and Steven. I really like Melina. When I was in Miami, I had the greatest time because Melina spent one-on-one time with me, which was amazing. Abba spent one-on-one time with me, which was amazing. I asked Steven, do you want to spend one-on-one time with me? And he said, only if you want to. And I said, oh, well, no, thank you. Because I'm not looking for close friends. And I don't need to waste his time by spending one-on-one time with him unless he wanted to become even slightly closer. Now, again, inner circle and close friends are different to me. You can have a very close friend and not have them be inner circle, right? Like have all your secrets, know who you are, spend every holiday with you. Okay. So I think there's a little confusion happening in regards to that, right? Now, from my perspective, obviously Steven was upset that day because he took my comments about being able to take him in a fight very seriously, which is obviously a joke. So one of the consistent jokes I've said my whole life is like, I could take you in a fight. I tell my dad all the time, I bet I could take you in a fight.
So I don't know if this is like, I'm not going to say autism. I'm going to be more serious in this conversation. I don't know if this is like a lack of social, I don't know if it's just like a lack of social skills. I'm not sure, right? You probably are. I've seen you in real life. She's 5'3". I don't think she genuinely thinks she could take me in a fight, right? I don't think she thinks that. It's the comparison to somebody else, and you know that we have very adversarial relationships, and you're like, here, this is something. If I've ever done this on stream, feel free to clip me and tell me not to do this anymore because I really shouldn't. One of the most deadly things. Here's a life skill, I guess. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm more socially adept than anybody on the fucking planet because apparently I'm the only one that understands these things. One of the most deadly fucking things that you can ever do to a person. Listen to me, okay? I might save your fucking relationship, okay? One of the most deadly things you can ever do in any relationship with anybody is to start comparing people. Even if you do it jokingly, there are comments that you can make to a girlfriend or boyfriend that can actually cause your relationship to end, even if you think they're not that big of a deal. Things especially relating to bodies. If you're talking to a girlfriend and you mention a thing where, she's like, oh, like, so I'm curious, like, what kind of girls do you like, blah, blah, blah. And you say something like, well, my ex had like really huge tits and that was cool. But I mean, like, I really like yours and everything too. Even if it seems like an innocuous comment, that one comment can plant the seed. You've like incepted the end of your relationship at that point. If a girl says to a guy like, oh yeah, like if you're like, oh, like, what kind of shit are you into, blah, blah, blah. And she makes comments like, even if you try to assuage somebody, even if you try to like make them feel okay, like, oh, I really like being with you and it's cool, whatever. My last boyfriend though, he was 6'2", and it was just so, I really liked like how tall he was, like that he had to like, he almost had to bend down to kiss me. I really like that. One comment like that in a guy's head is like, can be the beginning of the end. Generally, when you're in an area where you are, even in a friendly manner, trying to compare two people, you can cause everything to die. Now, Destiny sounding sensitive as hell. Okay. If you think I'm sensitive, that's fine. You can destroy your own relationships and learn this, because what I'm telling you is facts. Okay. That is the most factual shit that I've ever said in my entire life. What I'm talking about right now, these are friendly comparisons. Okay. These are friendly comparisons. If you do an unfriendly comparison, you're almost completely over at that point. If you, for instance, are talking to a girlfriend and she says some shit and you say something like, God, fuck, my ex never did some shit like this to me. She never complained like this. You're almost done. That's like a 45% kill switch on a relationship. Like, it might be over. Or if a girl says some shit like that, like, oh, fuck you. Like, my boyfriend had a bigger dick anyway. Or like my ex was like, he blah, blah, blah. Like some shit like that. That's like, you're done. You're flipping a coin, and half the time you've completely ended that relationship. Even with friends, saying something like, oh, like I should have asked, even over innocuous shit, right? Let's say somebody thinks they're like good with like computer troubleshooting or whatever, and you try to help him or whatever, and the guy's like, oh, like, fuck, I should just ask John. He knows way more about like this tech shit than you do, right? Like comments like that are so destructive. I am aware of that. I don't think I ever make these comments ever. It's just like the nuclear destruction zone of comparing people to each other. So to back all of this up, if Brittany was to say some random shit like I think Steven has noodle arms, I could beat him up in a fight. Okay, fine. Like whatever. I think she has made jokes like that, like beta boy and blah blah blah. Okay, fine, whatever. But when you say some shit like Sneako's been hitting the gym, he's looking real good. His arms are huge, not like Steven's beta gamer arms. I could beat the shit out of him. That's like, what are you saying? Why the fuck would you even do that? Like, imagine if Melina came in and I'm like, damn, Melina, you look so fucking good. I like how your legs actually look like you've got some real definition of muscle. You're not like fat, skinny fat like Brittany is, right? I don't even know Brittany is, by the way. That's just an example. But like, if I made a comment like that, in my head, I would assume that if Brittany saw that, our friendship is basically over. That's what I would assume. If Brittany saw me say something like that, comparing Melina's body to hers, it would be over. That would be the end of our friendship. Brittany would be like, why the fuck would you compare my body to your fucking wife? That's just like insane, right? Yeah, I don't know. This is just like that's just my assumption of the world. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure somebody said, wait, Pisco said, and somebody else says, what if Zerka does? I don't take Zerka seriously for anything. I don't know if I would consider Zerka a close friend though. He's like a guy that whatever. But no, Zerka says some, you can go talk to Farah, probably other people too. I always warn people when it comes to associating with Zerka's gonna say some fucked up shit and do some fucked up shit. I don't know if Zerka's like a good friend. I don't know if I would ever say, and when I say good friend, I don't mean close. Like, I don't know if Zerka knows how to treat people well. I actually don't know that. I don't think I've ever vouched for Zerka being able to treat people well. The only thing I ever say about Zerka is that I've never heard stories about him being like creepy or rapey on women when that one girl made that comment. But I would never vouch for Zerka as being able to treat people well or something, or like be a good friend or whatever. He probably has a lot of, I'm sure if I think about it, he probably has to have some like weird fucky shit that makes people feel bad. But that's Zerka, right? I don't defend his socializing or social behavior. But people pointing out Zerka is the exact point they're missing, and that they think Zerka is a counter to what you just said. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but okay. Whew, Jesus. It's weird that you're comparing them even in a positive light too. It's just implying that you're making that comparison without them knowing. It's just making comparisons between two people are just, you have to tread very, very, very carefully when you're comparing two people. You're just it's just, yeah, I don't know. This is a life skill that I'm imparting on you. If you're younger and you haven't figured this out yet, you have to tread very, very, very carefully when you're comparing two people, especially when it's things they care about, especially when it's things like their bodies. It's such a it's like, just, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just don't do it. Don't ever even try to. Destiny, I just think maybe if he had said the same thing about the no arm comparison, you might have reacted differently But would that be because you had assumed it was a joke? Yeah, kind of. If Zerka had made like the noodle arm thing, yeah, it's just Zerka. I don't hold his opinion. I don't think he's like a close friend or any shit like that. That's not how I even view him. I wouldn't expect Zerka, like, if it came out that Zerka was like talking shit about me, I would be like, yeah, okay, I kind of assume it. Like, yeah. But I don't know if he would, but like that, I'd just be like, yeah. But that's just the regard that I hold Zerka in, you know? But yeah. But it's like, it's Zerka. I mean, yeah. Okay. Jesus.
But my dad is obviously gonna kill me with his pinky. He's so strong. So
why do you think you work so well with Abba and Dan? Dan, I don't know what it is. Dan and Abba both seem to be pretty socially aware and socially intelligent. I don't think Dan has ever like gone hard on some shit that he knew would be like upsetting to me. I don't think I've ever spelled out that boundary with Dan either. Same thing with Abba. But Dan and Abba don't strike me as being socially retarded. They seem like they would know, like, this is where I can push and this is where I don't push. Like even, and I hate that this happened now because everybody has this fucking impression of me. I am very like fucking anal about my gym shit now for the past couple months, and like missing gym at night will actually drive me crazy. And when I left that one conversation when Abba was treading on my personal life, I think even though I told him and even though I told all of you, I still think everybody thinks that I was really mad at him for that convo, but I wasn't. I had to go to the gym. I didn't want to miss a day because when you start missing days, everything's fucked. Yeah, but like you could tell that Abba wanted to have that conversation, but he started to feel uncomfortable, which is socially intelligent of him because he was pushing on a really personal matter. Now, me personally, I don't mind having the conversation, whether anybody fucking believes it or not. I don't mind having that conversation. But like you could tell that Abba was treading lightly and he was a little bit uncomfortable because he knew, because he's not fucking retarded, because he knows that for a lot of people, treading into that personal area might actually like be really triggering or might like piss somebody off, right? Yeah, I think that I feel like Abba and Dan are both like actually. I would say for Mr. Mutant too, actually. I haven't talked to him in a while because he's on a totally different schedule. But I think Mr. Mutant too is like pretty socially intelligent. I don't know if I've ever, except for when he gets really mad. When we trigger each other in League, maybe it gets bad. But we're in a different world there. But yeah, I would say that Abadan and Mr. Mutant are all pretty socially intelligent people. I don't think they've ever done anything that's like retardedly beyond the pale. Lily is too, 100%. Lily Pichu is for sure. Yeah. Erudite seems to be. Nick seems to be. I get really scared about people I haven't known for like years now because all you fuckers are so crazy. Yeah, Melina generally is, yeah. To be fair, you and Mooten kept joking about Dan fucking kids for a good while. We did, but when he told us privately that it was too much, we stopped. We did stop. But also, he flirts with it a little bit publicly too. But no, we stopped when he told us it was too far. But to be fair, also, Dan farmed the Anna shit a little bit as well. Okay, so. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to this. Jesus.
When Steven was getting upset at the idea that I could like sneako or like I'm talking about his gamer boy arms, that's all a joke. And I've been saying those jokes for years. I said them to him multiple times. That's how I know he was upset during that stream because he took it very seriously. I'm a 5'1" girl who's
I don't know. I just can't believe she doesn't understand that. That's crazy. Like, yeah, I'm trying to think of like if I was with Brittany and I was saying shit like, God damn, Brittany, like your hair is so curly. Your curls are crazy, Brittany. Your curls are crazy, Brittany. Blah, blah. Like I could make that comment 100 times to her and maybe she doesn't care and it's fine. But if I was on stream and I ever made the comment like, God, there's this one girl and her hair is so fucking like, she curls it and it looks so good. And it's not like crazy curly like Brittany's hair. Like you can tell this girl actually cares about it. I don't think any of these opinions, by the way. I think Brittany's hair is fine. But if I were to make a comment like that, it's so different. It's like, and then to elevate, not only would that alone make that comment so different, the comparison to another person, if I were to do that while I was criticizing Brittany for something else, like that's like a friendship ending comment. I feel like that's so obvious to me. That's a friendship ending comment. Like when you say some shit like that, like it's probably over. Like you're in like nuclear grounds, basically. But I don't know.
125 pounds. I'm not going to take anyone in a fight. It's a joke. Okay? It's a joke. So, that's okay. No problem. We've all been triggered on the internet before. I just am the only one admitting it because I have a mental illness diagnosis where I think everyone else just gets to pretend that they're just like logic and facts, and so they get to freak out on the internet. Okay. Now,
Okay.
there were a lot of things about me lying or backstabbing him, and this is where I'm the most confused. 1, I never lied about anything I said. 2, if you're upset that my opinion that Sneeko is more open-minded than Steven is upsetting, I don't know what to do about that. Okay, that's an opinion, and I can explain that pretty clearly. And 3, backstabbing him. Like, I don't even know how I would backstab him except by telling his secrets, which I've never done. So obviously, I knew about the cheating before it became public. Okay? And I never told anyone about it, and I never mentioned it, right? I never mentioned it on the internet at all. Of course, because it's not my business. Of course I know who...
Didn't I? I feel like this, when Melina left for a month to go to Austin, I feel like basically everybody knew that shit was fucked. I don't remember the timeline on this, but like, it's not like this is a secret. I don't understand, like...
who was with and what happened, but it's none of your business. And I don't think it's important for the internet to know. I do think that the people involved know who they've hurt and they know that there's pain involved. Obviously, there are victims in the situation, Melina being one of them. And if the women, humans, people that Steven has cheated with feel okay being the other woman or, you know, continuing this hurt, that's their business, right? So I think that's really important to understand that I have not said anything in public that, you know what I mean? It's kind of strange. Now, Sneeko and Destiny being open-minded is just simply this. Sneeko has already said...
Wait, what? No.
But then I look at Steven, who's this progressive with blue hair, and he's got this open relationship, and it's kind of similar to what Fresh and Fit do, right? He's rich, he dates younger women, he has an open relationship where there's like little to no commitment or honoring the marriage contract, or he breaks consent with Melina, obviously, because he cheats on her, which is a consent violation.
Okay, fuck. I'm gonna end up just going nuclear. Fuck. I can't. I don't think I can do it. I think I have to content cut you guys. I don't think I can do it. Oh shit. I don't know if I can actually survive this conversation. Trump is in New York on his way to Trump Tower. Oh yeah, he flew back to get arrested today or some shit, right? Oh, Jesus. Smoke some weed? I don't know where my fucking weed went.
Said he's not in his final form. He's always learning, and he's a student. Steven has said, I know everything. I've arrived. Everyone younger is stupid than me. My wife's even dumber than me, right? He's already said he's already figured it out.
I like how I've said multiple times. Wait, hold on. I'm curious. Does anybody know what my favorite quote is in chat? Does anybody have any idea what my... Does anybody know? I feel like I've talked about this multiple times. This is bait? I feel like I'm getting one guide right now. The slow blade penetrates the shield. You said it today already? Yeah, there's some quote I wrote a long time ago. To achieve perfection is to sacrifice growth. Tip, tip, tip. Yeah, if you ever think you're perfect, you've completely destroyed your ability to grow anymore as a person. I don't. She just has the wildest opinions about me. Okay.
Closed-minded, open-minded. Sneeko, because he's still a student and still knows he has so much to learn, is, by Brittany's definition, open-minded. Right?
Thank you, though. I'm glad that she clarified this because I almost got gaslit by you fucking morons in my community who are like, oh, no. When she said that Sneeko was more open-minded, she just meant more open emotionally or something. A lot of you guys were saying that in my fucking subreddit. You were like, that's what she meant, Steven. Thank you. I'm glad that she clarified that at least. You fucking cope morons couldn't run with that.
Steven saying he's arrived and he knows the answers is Steven saying, you know what I'm saying? So that's fine. I'm about all of that. That makes so much sense to me. I don't think it's quite offensive to say he's not open-minded, right? Like, I don't think that it's that offensive. Now, I don't like where Sneako's landed. I don't like where he is right now, but I don't think this is his final form, so it doesn't matter. But if Steven tells me, take me seriously, this is my final form, then I will, right? But I don't take anything Sneako says seriously right now because I think he's on a journey. So I'm just looking at him as a young man trying to figure it out, right? So I don't think Steven can really be upset with me, or that the internet can, because I think I'm saying things that are totally within reason from my understanding of how these things work, right? Damn, I think that's all my notes. Is that all I said?
Jesus.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start. Okay, so now I'm going to take your questions. I don't know what else the real issues are. Like, I have no idea why people are upset. So I need you guys to now ask the questions and I will answer them. Super chats get priority. Do not ask anything that is already not in the public sphere. So do not ask me, like, who did Destiny sleep with? Do not ask me, like, where do I live? You know what I mean? So
My social
again,
security
I
number.
would like to know what the actual issue.
Destiny, remember when you said this is my final form? That really solidified me on the DGG call. Yeah, it's my attitude. I think it's just my demeanor. I think my demeanor, I am confident. I do come off as very confident. But I think that from my demeanor, I think people make a whole lot of assumptions about my character, which I guess is normal. I guess, like, people just do that. Didn't Tiny say that about Sneako, that he's just young and trying to figure it out? Yeah, I have said that about Sneako multiple times. I think that because my demeanor comes off as very confident or maybe even cocky, that people make a ton of assumptions about my character from that point. That must be what's happening. That's my guess, I guess. It was so cool when Destiny said, I have arrived, listen to me now. True.
issue is. So you guys can start asking now. Ashley, starting with Ashley, she's the first one. Does Destiny say he's arrived? Destiny has said multiple times to me that he knows who he is, that he's always on a journey, but he feels like he does know who he is and he wants to be taken seriously for the person he is right now.
That's what you just said. What she just said there was way different than I've totally figured everything out. I do have a really good sense of myself. I understand my limitations. I understand what I excel at. Yeah, I do have a really good understanding of myself. That doesn't mean I'm done growing and changing. What? Must be bubbles. Maybe it's just a bubble miscommunication.
Oh, and here's something I will say really fast. Hold on. Wait, you might want to pause your questions. Hold on. Let me answer this. So let's say I'm a young man and my name is Sneako and I'm on the internet and I'm trying to figure out what kind of a man I should be. Right?
I also I bet she's not going to address a single time. Sneako doesn't say, listen, okay? Here's the difference between me and all these fucking losers on the internet, okay? Like Sneako. Here's what I want you to copy from me. I think I have a good way of generating novel answers to political problems. When I say novel, I mean, like, I can think of something, spit it through my internal processes, and then say, like, I'm pro or anti this thing, without just copying somebody's opinion. That is the only thing I want you to copy from me. I don't sit here and say you should copy my lifestyle, that you should copy my fucking polyamory, that you should copy my cheating, that you should copy me fucking your mom, that you should copy me living in Miami, that you should copy me playing video games, that you should copy the amount of hours I put in my work, that you should copy how much I travel, that you should copy my spending, that you should copy my hobby. I don't say any of that. The difference between me and all these other fucking ideological fucking losers today is I'm not trying to sell you a fucking lifestyle. I don't think my lifestyle would work for most people. I've said that a million fucking times. But all these other guys on the internet, it's not enough to just give you one piece of advice. They say, like, hey, learn this thing from me. They all think that they're gurus on the way to educate you for the entirety of your existence. That's my issue with people like Sneako. And it's not just Sneako, it's what he's copy pasted from all the red pill people. Sneako did it in his video about Moist Critical. He's like, well, what do you think about Moist Critical, right? Do you want to be this guy? Like, look at the way that he lives his life and then compare him to me. Like, no, but I don't think Charlie's not trying to sell you a fucking lifestyle. Charlie's not trying to say copy me and be just like me. That's what Sneako's saying. That's what the red pill people are saying. Copy everything I do. Go to the gym. Do what I do. Have the same opinions about the world I do. Join Islam and cuck out like I do. Do this. All this shit. When I say cuck out, I mean join the religion, not the actual cuck drinks. Right? That's the difference, though. So for Brittany to say, like, Steven is closed-minded, but Sneako is open-minded. Sneako is literally telling people to copy-paste his lifestyle verbatim when his lifestyle changes every 3 months. It's like, it's such a shallow understanding of what it means to be open-minded or closed-minded that, like, Okay.
And I see Fresh and Fit, and they're millionaires, and they're flashy, and they got in danger taste of Bugattis, and that's like really great, right? But then I look at Steven, who's this progressive with blue hair, and he's got this open relationship, and it's kind of similar to what Fresh and Fit do, right? He's rich, he dates younger women, he has an open relationship where there's like little to no commitment or honoring the marriage contract, or he breaks consent with Melina, obviously, because he cheats on her, which is a consent violation. So if I'm Sneeko and I'm watching this man do exactly what Fresh and Fit is doing, right?
That her understanding of everything is so shallow. I don't know if she just has no political engagement or if she just has very, very stunted socio-political engagement. I don't know if you would say red pill shit is socio-political or just social. Her engagement is not at the level where she should ever be commenting on it ever. It would be like the equivalent of her saying, guys, if you're having trouble with your car engine, instead of putting normal gasoline in it, try diesel because I think it runs cleaner. Like, it's like, that's the level of commentary that she's giving on this right now. Destiny, she's so fixed on monogamy after her new relationship. Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I don't know how much, because sometimes people get like new relationship brained and they just like copy paste all of their partner's opinions. Maybe that's happening a little bit here. I have no idea, but
I'm watching this guy again. Then what is Steven really talking about when he says that Fresh and Fit give bad dating advice, or that they're not good for dating advice? They're good enough for their bubble, just like Steven's advice is good enough for his bubble.
But I don't tell people to. I don't know how many times I repeat myself. To say for the 50 trillion time, I never tell people to model their relationships off of me, ever. I don't. Never said that ever. Never. Now, Brittany does tell people to model their relationships off of hers. By the way, she did it at the end of her last live stream. She did that. She said, "Oh, you guys should try this thing I'm doing." When I give relationship advice, I'm telling people like, here are the general tried and true like tips and tricks of like dating a like the advice that I gave earlier, for instance, about comparing people to other people is a deadly thing. That has nothing to do with my personal life. That's just some like basic blanket advice that applies to literally everybody.
But if I'm a young man named Sneeko and I'm looking at the world, well, what is Steven doing that's that different from Fresh and Fit? What is he doing different, right? It's not too different, but it is obviously different. It's a different bubble. Fresh and Fit have a very specific reason they believe what they do. Steven does his things for different reasons. Now, Mr. Redacted would say Steven manipulates young women because he's malicious and rude. And I would say Steven accidentally because he's traumatized or an asshole. There's only 3 options here. You're either a malicious narc like Mr. Redacted thinks he is, which I don't think so. You're an asshole, or you have trauma. Because you cannot justify cheating, lying, consistent manipulation, unless you are considering those 3
Who's and this idea that I like justified all too is just like I don't know. I don't. It's like this is just all invented in her world, in her bubble.
options. And all of them are very human, so I'm not here to cast permanent judgment. I'm just here to say it's very confusing to see a person who says he's progressive, but he doesn't live or walk the walk. Now, I've heard this from people that in other bubbles, it is normal to take advice from people who do not walk the walk. Okay, that's fine. In my bubble, if you do not walk the walk, you cannot talk the talk. That is the rule. I do not want fitness advice from a morbidly obese person on how to have a six-pack. I do not want dating advice from a person who's a serial cheater who told me in multiple live shows we've had together that he's only in an open relationship because he cheats, which, by the way, is red flag 101 of open relationships done healthily. So again, all of that stuff is fine, right? All of that stuff is what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, all of that stuff is fine. Yeah. But again, I need to be able to hold an opinion that from what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's go ahead and go to... Kay says, you lost me with the closed-mindedness, unless you're defining that by emotional availability. No, it's openness to change. I already told you. Sneeko is literally a student. He's a young man who's like in his, what is he, 24, 25?
Sneeko is literally copy-pasted all the red pill opinions verbatim so fucking hard, he converted to a religion whose holy scriptures he's never opened a single time in his life. Is that the definition of open-minded? Maybe it's the most open-minded. Maybe that is the most open-minded you could be. Like, maybe it is. Maybe. Jesus Christ. That's getting a retweet.
Steven is a 34-year-old man who consistently tells young people they're dumb, that 24, 25. Sneeko is literally a student. He's a young man who's like in his, what is he, 24, 25? Steven is a 34-year-old man who consistently tells young people they're dumb, that they haven't figured it out, that they don't know better, including his own wife. Steven has already said many times he feels like he's figured it out. He feels like...
half of this is true. Young people are dumb. They haven't figured it out. That's totally fine. That's normal. That's called being young. Nobody has everything figured out when they're 24. That's literally what you're saying about Sneeko. Like, you're saying that he doesn't have it all figured out. That's the same shit that I'm saying. Like, there's obviously stuff Alita doesn't have figured out either, which is also true. But she's also a lot more mature than I was when I was 24. I don't say that I've got everything figured out. It's just all like... I think that the for incongruencies or inconsistencies, this is how I'm processing it. I could be wrong, but in order for her conversations with me to make her the hero of our conversations, I have to be a certain type of person, and I think that she is molding me into being that type of person. She's like creating like the perfect target for her to feel that she has been justified in attacking. I think that's like what her. I think that's what this conversation is. If I had to guess, that's what I would say.
like he knows what he's doing. He knows how to, he has a healthy life and everything's perfect.
That it has to be. Because, like, I've never said anything even remotely resembling any of these things. Like, where is the stream where I've said this?
That they don't know better, including his own wife. Steven has already said many times he feels like he's figured it out. He feels like he knows what he's doing. He knows how to, he has a healthy life and everything's perfect. So that's fine. But that's why I have to judge Steven harshly.
It's like, I can't even understand. I'm trying to think if, like, I don't even think she's twisting shit. I think she's imagined. She's, like, created another world where I'm, like, a totally different... Like, and the funny thing is, too, is she's comparing me to Sneeko, who goes around harshly judging people. Like, Steven says, young people are dumb. True, they are. Sneeko is open-minded. Meanwhile, Sneeko says that people that got vaccinated are bots, people that didn't drink fucking ivermectin, weren't doing responsible medical thing, people that believe that 9/11 was real are dumb fucks, people that don't understand the Died Suddenly documentary, the fucking JFK assassination was fake, the people that are fucking doing their normal relationships are fake, people that are SJWs are fake, people that are trans or gay are fake, it's like off the wall. It's an unimaginable comparison.
Healthy life and everything's perfect. So that's fine. But that's why I have to judge Steven harshly versus Sneeko. Because Sneeko is open-minded to me just means you're open to more possibilities than the ones you've discovered. That's what I think open-mindedness is. Like, my parents aren't open-minded. There is no option where their reality will shift away from God, and they know it, and they say that. My parents will admit, they are not open-minded people. I think it's interesting, though, that every time I get on stream to talk with Steven and give my side of the story, it's, you're the exception. You're different. You're the one and the only. You're not like other people. That's not very open-minded. When I talk to Sneeko, he's like, okay.
Oh, so this thing that I felt before is true. I think that one of the things I said earlier was I think that in her mind, open-minded just means that, like, you'll listen to me and you'll believe what I say and take what I say at face value and say that I'm right on things. I think that that is a big part for her being open-minded. So this part actually makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Brittany, I can see that. But listen. You're wrong because of this. Like, he can at least understand that people are living different lives. Now, from my perspective, we are living different lives. Generalization doesn't exist, and like, common sense isn't a real thing to me because it's completely different for everyone. My siblings and I grew up with different types of common sense. There are things I know my brothers don't know that I think are common sense. Even though we were raised in the same environment, we don't know those things. So I, Brittany, don't actually believe in things like that. So again, if you guys want to understand how I think, you need to accept that I'm not running off whatever pre-script you guys are working off of. Right? And you guys can disagree with my characterization, but does that really warrant a bridge burning? Does that warrant a friendship ending? That seems strange that he would end a friendship with a close friend he said was good and be more than open to talking to other people on the internet, right? So I have to assume something is going wrong here. You know what I mean? I don't think he's using his position on the internet to manipulate his orbiters. I think if you are a grown adult with a good head on your shoulders, your career shouldn't be dependent on Steven. I think Steven is doing the best he can with what he has to welcome orbiters into his world, but I am not an orbiter. And so I'm not dependent on Steven. One of the ironic things I saw on his Reddit were people saying like, wow, her career's over. She burned the bridge. I can't believe she gave up on Destiny. Her whole career is done now.
Wait, did
And
a lot
that
of people, were these
basically
upvoted
isn't
comments?
true, because I already had a career before and after Destiny, obviously.
I don't know.
But Mr. Girl, those are the comments he sees. Ugh, Mr. Redacted. That's what he sees and goes, see, Steven's manipulative. Steven isn't dependent. I'm not dependent on Steven. I'm not dependent on him for income. And when you guys post like that in the subreddit, that's why Mr. Redacted thinks Steven is doing something to his orbiters. He's not doing anything like that to his orbiters. He's being messy and dysfunctional, but he's being human. He's not manipulating. He's not sitting there going, meh, meh, meh. Now, is he strategic with how behind the scenes he handles online stuff? Yeah, I mean, we're YouTubers. We all do that, right? Maybe.
To be clear, I don't do that. I know that she might do that and everybody else does that. When I do shit online, I'm real as fuck. And if you talk to anybody that's talked to me in real life and then dealt with me online, I'm the exact same motherfucking person, okay? Except I might say slurs more in real life, all right? That's the only difference between me online and me in my real life. I'm not planning or conniving or scheming, unless I'm like working on like a secret fucking manifesto or some shit. I don't do any of that shit. That is fucking cringe, okay?
Maybe that's a form of manipulation. I think it's just playing 4D chess, but also being reasonable. But again, I don't know what is so upsetting about my opinions about the situation, right? But I can understand why people might be upset based off of their own values. Ooh, Pastor with the $10 super chat. Thank you so
True.
much.
I'm a real
Why
ass
don't
bitch
you
in a
judge them
fake
by
ass
their
world.
words and actions?
True.
Sneeko may say all the things, but he behaves in an entirely different manner. He even calls everyone bots and sheep all the time. Well, so I believe Sneeko's playing a character and he's on a journey as a young man. So I don't take any.
That's so cringe. He's playing a character as he gives advice to everybody on the internet and chides people and attacks people for not following exactly what he says. It's just a character, so it's all okay. Like, okay.
Anything he says seriously. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So I can't judge Sneeko because I'm discounting him as judgeable, because I don't think this is his final form. So I can judge as a content creator that I don't support his content in terms of like maybe the rhetoric he's saying, but he's also pulled back from a lot of that rhetoric, and I don't watch Sneeko like a.
He's pulled back. Has he? What has he tweeted today? What has Sneeko tweeted today? Maybe he has pulled back from that rhetoric. Let's see. We've got a George Floyd tweet shitting on trans people. Mediocrity should scare you. Here he is lecturing people on how to live their lives. Big tech. I could red pill the Western youths in months. Talking about red pilling everybody. Oh, 9/11 conspiracy theories. Vaccination, Fauci, Trump, Gannon, simulation, Jews, Soros, Clinton, Epstein, World Economic Forum. Wow. What an open-minded, amazing guy, dude. It's just so much. It's just so open-minded. It's just so unbelievably open-minded. Like, wow. Nice job.
A content creator. I don't watch Rumble or Kick, or I don't go on those alternative websites. So I can't judge Sneeko. I have exempted him from being judged by me because I cannot take him seriously yet, right? But if Andrew Tate wants to be taken seriously, then I'll judge him. If Steven wants to be taken seriously, I will judge. And I'm only judging the content creation part, right? Again, this is so important, right? Yes, Destiny has changed his position on things, but again, you guys must maybe you guys don't know the difference. You know there's a difference, right, between how you live your life and what you say. I don't care what you say. I want to know how you live your life, right? So only if I'm taking you seriously. If I'm not taking you seriously, it doesn't matter. Okay? So I really need you to hold this distinction with me. I know it sounds confusing, but it's like, my little brother went through a Tate stage too. I don't take them seriously. It's just, they're just in this moment where they're throwing eggs at people and they just want to like, meh, and I'm angry and this is how I feel, and I want them to feel that way and then decide how they came to that conclusion. But if every person in Sneeko's life who's even slightly good ditches him or is afraid to be associated with him, then he's just going to get reinforced by the bubbles that have already captured his attention, which is the Tate bubble. So yeah, I'm not going to judge him, right, in that regard. Okay, I hope that answered your question. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going through. Oops, hold on, babies. I'm going through the chats and I just fucked it up and it scrolled all the way down. So hold on. LaCara says Destiny wasn't upset. Wait, Destiny was upset and got his feelings hurt because you compared him to Sneeko and said he's less open-minded than the person who's totally a hypocrite in his eyes. Yeah, get over it. That's what I'm saying. You're a grown-up. You're the grown-up. What are you so pissy about getting compared to a 24-year-old? You're the grown-up. Leave the kids alone. Or learn to take young people seriously and actually start paying attention to what they say. But like, if you're going to already ignore Sneeko and write him off as a young person who's silly, then how could you be offended that you're, like, I even compared the two. When I compared open-mindedness, he's young. He should be more open-minded than the old people. Isn't that pretty traditional? Right? So I can't.
So
I
is she?
it.
So then
If
is
that's
Brittany
the
not
problem,
open-minded?
I cannot help you with that. Right? That's just so weird. I get associated with the worst people ever. I hate Teal Swan so much. Her work is so silly to me, but I get associated with her all the time. Okay, I understand why people think that, even though I completely disagree. I'm a content creator. I'm gonna get associated with people I don't like, and that's the problem. Again, the things Steven has told me in public and private, the way he's described himself to me, I don't know how he doesn't think it's not great to somebody like me who values like honesty, authenticity, no lying, complete transparency in a relationship. Like, of course I'm gonna judge that. But that's what I'm saying. If he was my close friend and he knew me, nothing I'm saying should be a surprise. I am very harsh on the close people in my life and what they do. If you cheat, I'm gonna tell your wife. If you cheat, I'm gonna tell your
I thought I'm not close. Wait, so now I am a close friend, or?
your husband. If you cheat, I'm gonna tell your boyfriend. If you cheat, I'm gonna tell your partner.
I feel like she got cheated on in the past. That must have happened. Maybe I wonder if that's like part of the rewriting too. It was the rape thing, and then also she's been cheated on by somebody. That's got to be. Maybe that's my thing. I'm not sure. Or maybe her current. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Now, don't put me in a situation because I will tell them.
Destiny, her ex cheated on her with her stalker. Oh, okay. Maybe that also makes a little bit more sense too. That might be it. Sure.
I won't call them. I won't Google their names. But if I'm put in a room with them, I'm not going to sit there and pretend, just because you're my bestie, that you didn't do what you did. Okay? So that's my thing. It's a consent violation. Whether you like it or not, cheating is a lying consent violation. And we're not talking about I was drunk one night, I was manic, I was having a bet, and I accidentally touched a boob. We're talking about methodical cheating, right? Cheating is bad. If you've thought about it, you know your wife or husband aren't going to like it, and you do it anyways, that's bad. And that person should not be giving relationship advice, or rather, they should always have the right to give relationship advice because I'm a pro-freedom person, but I will never recommend to my audience to seek advice from a person who can't walk the walk. Period. I do not value people who cannot walk the walk. That's all there is to it. It's not that deep, and I think that's pretty based. If you don't agree, you live in a different reality from me, and that's fine.
The bubbles.
But that's, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So smokers, drinkers. I might consider a smoker with lung cancer telling me not to smoke because they walk the walk. I wouldn't, like, there are things that are facts. Like, okay, apparently in society, people just want the right information, but I want people who have the lived experience. So this is a bubble difference. Kat Black just made this most amazing video on this where she was saying, like, the lived experience is always ignored because it's anecdotal, but for Brittany, that's all I care about because statistics lie. People lie on statistics, but also statistics are a generalization where people like me fall through the cracks. So people like me, if you generalize...
I like how earlier she was upset at me for saying, like, you're the exception, or you're the exception, you're the exception. And now she's admitting that in other words, like, oh, statistics don't accurately encapsulate my life.
Generalize people who have borderline. I'm not that description, generally speaking. Right? So people like me will fall through the cracks if we keep generalizing individuals. So I don't want to do that. So again, I understand that you could have objective advice, like smoking leads to lung cancer or can lead to lung cancer. And I think no matter who says that, it's probably correct. But again, I don't want to hear it from people in general unless they have a lived experience and a story attached to it. Hey, Brittany, I've been smoking 30 years. I got lung cancer. I died at 55.
That's so
and I could've been there
this
for
is
my
just
children.
stupid opinion.
That is much more impactful to me than someone just saying, hey, do you know, like, you shouldn't smoke, it causes cancer? Yeah, we know that, bros. We do know that. but personal experience is usually what helps change minds. So for me, I'm looking for that personal experience to understand it.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, hold on. I have to look for all these super chats. Mr. Girl wants me to unblock him. Never. I'm never unblocking Mr. Girl. Leave me alone. I do not consent. If I've blocked you, I've blocked you for a reason. How do people look at Destiny and think that he has anything put together when his hair is that color and his beard looks that way? Half joking. Funny. Okay. That's not.
Okay. Good super chat.
Okay, so people are saying, how is Sneeko? He's in the red pill. How is he open-minded? I do not believe this is his final form. I think he's going through a phase, and we'll see if the phase lasts. If in 5 to 10 years he's still in this area, that's fine. I think people change, though, and I've seen Sneeko since he was a kid on YouTube, and I know he has the potentiality to think much deeper and more profoundly about these subjects. I just think he's stuck in a sphere right now, which reinforces a lot of the feelings he's been having. And it doesn't help that he's also in like a making money bubble. So again, when you're in a making money bubble, it doesn't really matter. Ethics and morals don't matter. Consistency doesn't matter. What matters is that you sell products. And I think that that is America, right? You can be mad at capitalism before you can be mad at Sneeko.
What?
Because the game of capitalism is sell a product whether people like it or not, whether it's good for them or not, whether it helps them or not, like cigarettes and stuff, and make money and put a warning label on it. So if if Sneeko is primarily in the making money bubble, that's not my business. You know what I'm saying? But if he's in the ethics bubble, which he sort of grifts and I don't agree with, then that's one thing. But again, I can't take Sneeko seriously. He's in his mid-20s. He's too all over the place. He doesn't have a real reason why he thinks things. He just has his feelings, which I think are valid, but I don't think are enough for me to like actually want to contend with him one-on-one in a equal way. But Steven is a man who, again, claims he's the adult and claims he knows what he's doing and he wants to be taken seriously. So, again, if you can't walk the walk, I don't think you should talk the talk, but I don't mean literally shouldn't. I think Sneeko should be back on YouTube. That's how pro and anti-censorship I am, or pro-freedom I am. I'm saying Steven can have his advice thing. He can do his thing, but it's surprising to me that people would take advice from someone who cannot walk the walk. That is what is surprising to me. You know what I mean? But that's fine. So
Isn't she writing off young people the same? I don't even know, dude.
Again, I pride myself in walking the walk, right? Yeah. Also, there's some like arguments in the comments about whether Melina feels like she was cheated on. Guys, open relationships, you can get cheated on. And Melina and Destiny have already said on stream it is cheating. They've already confided in me privately before it came out that it was cheating. We know it's cheating. It's not that deep. Okay. Let's go.
Has she been in a relationship? Honestly, I don't even know what relationship experience she has. I'm not actually sure. I don't know if we've talked about it before.
My lips are weird. Okay.
But I'm sure if you watch her shit, you
Joel
probably
says
know.
Destiny gives the appearance of being open-minded, but it's open-minded with conditions and qualifiers. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Is like I'm open to anything that could be true, no matter who tells it to me. But I am pretty closed-minded when it comes to certain things. So I know that about myself. I wonder if people would be okay with admitting that, right? I'm gonna get to your super chats. I'm coming. Actually, I'm gonna scroll down to them since they get priority, and everyone has to repeat questions if I haven't done it. Ira, thank you so much for the super chat. Will this be VOD later today? Yeah, I just unlist my live shows and I put them in a playlist on the front page. So let's make sure I didn't miss. Okay, I'm gonna go to the super chats. Thank you so much, Officer Ricky. Don't you think people that can't walk the walk can actually give you good advice? They literally can tell you the negative effects that come with the lifestyle. So Destiny advice might be helpful. Yeah, but I've never seen Steven in the year I've been watching him, or a year plus. I've never actually seen him say, "I'm a shitty partner. I'm a bad this. You shouldn't do it like me." Literally.
I just don't think she hasn't watched any of my shit. She just hasn't watched anything. I think I even say this privately to people that like anybody that dates me for more than like a year is like a fucking that's like a World War III veteran right there. I just don't. She's invented this caricature of me. Like I could like write down like in a notepad like who is Steven to Brittany? Like he's a guy that thinks he knows the entire answers of the world. He's dismissive of everybody else's experiences, especially younger people. He apparently hates his fucking partner. Doesn't admit to doing any. She's got like this. It's this insane caricature of like retarded shit that doesn't apply to me ever. I think I literally hear he says, she has like her caricature of what exists in her mind, and then that's it. I think, yeah. 100% she doesn't watch anything. She only goes online to be a guru, not to be watching competing gurus. But I'm curious. I guess I'm curious more like, does this caricature of me that exists, does it come from her or does it come from what people tell her about me? I'm kind of curious with it. I don't think I'll ever know, but I'm super curious. I don't know. Why don't these people ever talk to you about confirming their views? I don't know. Because why don't they? Oh, that's a good question. If Brittany really thought these things about me, why would she never confront me about these? Like, why not come on stream and discuss it or argue with it? It could be she just has no interest in it. It could just be that it's easier to just talk about it on a stream. Or it could be that she knows they're not true and she's just milking me. I don't know if it's any of those three things. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that a lot. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Literally, look at me. I'm a bad person. Like, I've never seen him do that. So instead he gets there and says, no, I have a healthy relationship. I'm doing things healthily. My job is healthy. He literally told Abba in one of the conversations they had about hedonism with Melina that he's doing it right. So no, I don't think
like my life works for me, but like everything in my life is fucking insane. Dude, the last week of my life has been unbelievable. I traveled to like 3 different places, tried to dox somebody online, had a guy just finish a 150,000 fucking word article about how abusive I am, had a woman make a fake rape accusation about me online. Well, like nothing about my life I would recommend to any other person ever. I don't want to, I'm just gonna let it play. I'm not gonna sit here and say like I've said this, I haven't said this. I think you guys have all heard me say this a million times before. Like, it's just, I don't think it's delusion. I don't think she's delusional. I think it's like a defense mechanism or something. That's yeah, I don't know. That's all I can think about.
I think Steven is a person who could, who is doing that. He is not saying, right? He is not saying, I am doing a bad thing. He's getting away with being a hypocrite by saying, don't live life like I live it. But it's like, do you want to, okay, if a Catholic priest tells you raping children is wrong and you found out he raped a child, do you really want to hear it from him? Because I don't. So that's the thing that I feel. Now, I've only been watching Destiny for like a year and some change, right? That's how long I've known him. So, and I don't mean a bad, okay, you guys are having a literal are you guys having like a funky, you guys are freaking out in the chat right now. Bad person is not evil person. Bad things, I think he's a good person who does bad things. Is that good enough? Are you guys okay now? Are you done being triggered? You're so sensitive. You're so fucking sensitive. Listen to me. How I think is how I think.
Wouldn't the priest have walked the walk or raped the rape?
A grown man in his 30s burned the bridge with his best friend because she had an opinion of a clearly dysfunctional relationship.
Now I think she was my best friend?
You guys can be upset about this.
Wait, what?
You cannot justify it to me. I want to see Destiny right now tell all the progressives how bad he is at being progressive. He does not hold progressive values.
Dude, I feel like first of all, half these progressives are fucking rapists. Secondly, none of these progressives do anything with like political activism. Being progressive as a political thing and having a lifestyle are two totally fucking different things. These are totally disconnected. Like, how many progressives, like Hassan is a progressive and he doesn't do like but his life is like a hyper-capitalist. Oh, my brain just like overloaded with like 400 fucking retarded. Okay, I don't care.
This is why women hate liberal men. This is what
I can't, dude. I can't actually. It's like, this is why women hate liberal men. I don't even know. Yeah, okay. Just, is she trolling? Is she trolling? I don't know.
What I heard from my girlfriends when I told them the story, they're like, it's always the liberal men. It's always the progressive men who are fuckboys. It's always the liberal men who go around and do these things. And I'm saying Steven is not the exception. He's just a part of the bubble. He's a part of the same narrative.
April Fools.
So can you explain it to me? Can you justify it to me? Have I ever done anything wrong in my life? Absolutely. Every day. And I admit to it. I've made videos about how I've told the worst lies I've ever told. I've got on the internet and talked about my toxic relationships. I've talked about the dysfunction in my life. And I've also talked about how I've gotten out of it. You do not have to be dysfunctional. You do not have to lie to your partners. You do not have to cheat on your partners. You can be people with a set of values you actually follow no matter the temptation. I believe in you. Super chat. If an overweight person gave you good advice for losing weight, would you disregard his advice just because he's overweight? Yes, absolutely, 1000%. That seems strange. Exactly. In your bubble, it seems strange. In my bubble, it seems very strange to take advice from people who don't walk the walk. So that's why I say it's a miscommunication. Thank you so much for the super chat. Exactly. In my bubble, if I asked my parents, my brothers, my neighbors, the bubble I'm in right now, if I went to my neighbors and said, would you take advice? They'd be like, absolutely not. This is very unique. This is, different. It's just a different bubble. So no, in my bubble, I would not take advice from anyone, even if it was accurate, if they weren't walking the walk. Because I don't need to. I have actual papers I can read. I have actual research I can read. I don't have to watch a YouTuber.
I thought she just said she doesn't care about the research. She just wants to.
I can find a YouTuber who's either giving me the objective research or using
bubbles.
their life as an example of how things are able to happen, right? How things can be a success. So thank you so much for that super chat. That is exactly my point. Kevin, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, Brittany, last year around this time, I had a terrible family situation going on. And I at a low moment mentioned it in chat. The advice comment you gave me made my day in a way I won't forget. Can't thank you enough. Stay awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I really hope it worked out, Kevin. So does that make sense, guys? Can we, that's where I think the conversation really needs to be, is how differently we think, right? Okay, so now that I'm done with super chats, I'm going to scroll all the way down to chat, and I'll start asking questions again. Okay, does anyone actually have a question now? Because I'm caught up with chat and I don't see any new questions. In the papers you read on weight loss, are you looking for the author to ensure they aren't overweight? No, because they wouldn't be using their lived experience as the example. They'd be using the documentation. I don't trust random YouTubers who look up Wikipedia articles. I don't trust people who take Twitter polls.
She's so fucking...
I am very...
Oh my god, she's so triggered on the rape combo. Did you hear that? It's like a direct call out to me and Ayla. That was so transparent. Holy shit. Oh my god. Jesus.
Picky about where I get my information, documentation. I don't trust random YouTubers who look up Wikipedia articles. I don't trust people who take Twitter polls. I am very picky about where I get my information. If it's a lived experience and they tell me their story and they show that they did it, I can believe them. If they are citing papers and researching papers, then I'm trusting the science, not the person saying the science. Does that make sense? So I still wouldn't go to a random YouTuber and use their science. I'd go to somebody who has some sort of credential or a lived experience that allowed me to rely less on a credential. Does that make sense? That might sound strange, but yeah. TMM, I love TMM. Hi, TMM says, remember when Michael Brooks said, be ruthless with systems and kinds with individuals? I think too many people forget that advice. That's pretty great advice. That is pretty great advice. Sausage Lord with your super chat. Thank you off. Go off, Queen. Win, Brittany. L. Steven. As the great philosopher Sneeko said. Boys are so fun. I really appreciate boy energy sometimes. It's so funny. Okay. I skipped your super chat. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Let me scroll up. It's so sorry. They come really fast and then I don't know where they went. Raiders Cat, member for 3 months. Thanks for sticking to your guns about Max and Lav. Fuck yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. Steven needs to stick to his guns. Don't talk to Lav. Don't talk to Mr. Redacted. They're not healthy. They're dysfunctional, but they're bad. Not bad, evil, because I don't really believe in evil people, but they're, I mean, I do believe in evil, but I don't know if I believe in evil people. Oh, okay, I see it. Thank you. Aren't you also being closed-minded like you claim Destiny is by dismissing Sneeko for his age? Dude is literally 24. He should know better. I think in some ways you could see it that way. I think of myself as being open-minded to the idea that he will change because this isn't his final form. But I am also taking him out of the running of being criticized. Now, if Sneeko came to me and said, Brittany, I'd actually like you to really consider me a full adult and I'd like you to really challenge my ideas, I would do that with him. Absolutely. I just don't think it's appropriate because of the journey that I see him on. I just feel like it's really inappropriate to do that. And not because he's just 24, but because of what kind of 24-year-old he is. So like my friend brother was married in his 20s, making $160K with 4 kids and a wife. Okay? So that's a different kind of person living their 20s. Not everyone's living the same 20s. So Sneako's living a 20s that I think is different. It's like Aiden Ross. Like, it was so sweet when Steven was trying to explain to Aiden and Sneako, like, the difference between a pedophile and, like, a person who molests children. Like, they just couldn't follow the convo, which shows me, like, how innocently naive they are. But also, Steven he trolled them the whole time. He didn't really attempt to actually inform them. I love this information. These kinds of facts changed my whole perspective on existence and made me much more compassionate. And I think if we could really understand the difference between pedophiles and child molesters and people who were raised in environments where X, Y, and Z, if we could really understand the nuance of all of these things, I think it would be much more interesting, but not a mandatory thing. It's not mandatory. We as a society are not obligated to one another past a certain extent, right? So again, I'm not trying to say you can see me as closed-minded by ignoring Sneako. I'm okay with that definition. It just doesn't match how I think of open-mindedness, but I think it's valid if that's how you think of it. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll back down. Scroll back down. Scroll. And if you want to join the voice chat on Discord, you guys can hop into the waiting room and I'll pull you into chat. You will get priority along with super chats over regular comments. Okay, imposter, again, thank you so much. Okay, but isn't that some kind of ad hominem thing? In my example, I specified it was good advice. Why would the weight of a person giving the advice make the advice good or not worth taking? Okay, so I think we're hearing different things. Is the person giving advice giving it from a scientific perspective, like a researcher perspective, then their lifestyle choice doesn't matter. Are they giving it to me as a lived experience? Then it might matter. Brittany, again, I do not take advice from people who do not walk the walk, nor do I think people generally should, unless they're coming from a place of authority. Like, I'm a researcher. Here's the data. I don't follow it because I don't want to, because you're not obligated to stay or to be any particular way. But at the same time, if I'm trying to reach a goal, like I wouldn't want a personal trainer who wasn't in shape. Does that kind of make sense? So again, I'm not trying to ad hominem thing. I'm just trying to say from my perspective, this is definitely how I think of it.
Moo Kitty is back. Did she get
I believe
remonetized?
is perspective of your
Oh
relationship
shit!
between Destiny, when you make certain assumptions and statements about Destiny that he considers wrong. Okay. So people were really upset. Hold on, I don't know where your second part of your comment is. People were really upset I kept calling Sneako my son. When I first went on Sneako's stream, his whole stream was like, she sunned you, bro. Because I made it clear that I was older and I wasn't going to engage in his like flirtatious acts. And I wasn't going to treat him like he wasn't someone that was younger. So his chat was like, she sunned you. And that's when I started saying Sneako is my son. Because the truth is like Sneako is not my peer quite, because we're not in the same vicinity exactly. We don't collab enough. He's not like you know what I'm saying? He's a young person on a journey. And he has not asked me to take him seriously. But I think Steven would, does Steven not want to be, let me give Steven the option, I guess. Does he want to be taken seriously? Because if he does, then I don't think he walks the walk and his advice is meaningless. Because again, at least Fresh and Fit walk the same walk. They openly say they're going to have a one open relationship. At least for their bubble, they do make the money. They do have the girls.
Sneako is her lav.
Like with Steven's bubble, who is he appealing to? I don't know why you would feel comfortable looking up to somebody who can't walk the walk. You know what I'm saying? But that's fine. That's totally fine. Destiny does do that. He gives advice based off what works for most people. Oh, and he acknowledges that he chooses not to follow them himself. Okay, so here's the problem though. He doesn't do that. He doesn't speak to a general population. He speaks to a general bubble population. The advice Steven gives doesn't make sense to half the people in my lives. He gave lying advice. When I called into the show, I was really high. Him and Melina were reading Reddit stories, and there was a cheating story. The girl was at a club, and she said that she cheated. Her best friend knew. She came home, and she never told her boyfriend. And then, like, a few years later, he was going to propose. And the friend was like, it's eating at me. I have to tell him. And Destiny and Melina, Steven, was like, gaslight that friend, like, gaslight everybody. Like, do not admit to this. Steven promotes ideas about lying to your partners. As far as I've seen in the collaboration we did together,
Christ.
when I called into his show, that was the stance he was taking. That's not good advice. Is that good advice in your bubbles? Is it good advice to lie to your partners? Again, if that is your
She
bubble,
took that
and
seriously?
I've met a lot of my callers who
Yeah, I
actually do
guess.
agree with that, that's fine.
My God.
But you can't ask me to be okay with advocating lying to your partners, right? So again, I don't care if Steven gives good advice sometimes. If he's not smart enough to take it, why am I listening to him? So he can get away being a little cookie jar kid who's like, I'm not going to eat it anymore, Mom, I promise, as he's sitting here doing it over and over again. Yeah, silly, undisciplined, weak. Cheaters are weak. Like, think about it, right? If you can change Destiny's opinion, if you can convince him, he has reached opinions after much thinking. He won't change just because you said. Yeah, I don't want him to change just because I said. And for the, like, so here's the problem, guys. I am not here. I don't know what I just did. Message pinned, undo. I didn't mean to pin that. I'm so sorry.
You must be doing some
I'm
weird shit behind the
boomer.
scenes to these people. Yeah, I don't know. Dude.
I literally have no beef with Steven. I don't care. Steven wasn't a close friend to me. He can burn the bridge. I rarely collabed with him. He can burn the bridge. I don't know what he's thinking. I have no idea how he's this offended. You know what I mean? It's just strange. But he can think that way. So as a content creator, I think he is not I just don't agree with what he puts out there on the internet in regards to his ideas. I'm not sure his community is a safe space for the mentally ill, considering that, again, he kept saying I was splitting, that this is borderline, and blah, 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 when it was literally my PTSD. So again,
Did I say
I'm
that? I feel like
indifferent
other
to
people
what
were saying
Steven
that. I
wants
might
to
have.
do,
I don't
but
remember.
He can't keep doing things.
I'm trying to figure out what it was.
And expecting people not to push back. But if he wants to claim that I'm just, being silly, then that's okay too. That's an opinion he can have, right? But yeah.
You never said anything about BPD. Yeah, I
Metallica
don't
says,
remember.
if somebody told your future mother and father-in-law about your alternative lifestyle, you'd be fine with that. I mean, they already know. Both my parents and my in-laws know about my alternative lifestyles. So I'm not really sure what you mean in that regard. Destiny is being upset at a friend makes sense, but the both of you are having different views on your relationship. That's the disconnect. I agree. I think there's a huge disconnect happening here. You know what I mean? And I can't, look, I'm not going to tell his secrets. I'm not going to tell anything he told me behind closed doors, but I feel like it doesn't match. And so that's where I'm confused. So he can talk about that in private with me and we can clear it up. And
I
then can come
specifically
back and
recall
say
you
we
telling
cleared
Kelly
it
Jean
up.
that you didn't think it had anything to do with
But I
mental
can't talk
illness.
to him on stream
yeah,
about
maybe.
it because
I don't
I'm
even
not
know.
going to tell his secrets.
I get gaslighted so
So
hard over what I
again-
think. I don't even know what the fuck I think anymore.
So again, I think that he is just not as, he doesn't have the values he thinks he does. Does that make sense? Now look, I could be, I'm just like a little confused on what he thinks should happen here, or what's appropriate. Because I just don't think it's that deep. You know what I mean? And also Dan made the assumption, he was so sweet. Dan was so nice to me in Miami. Dan's a really nice guy, holds values about relationships that I don't agree with, but I loved him and I loved disagreeing with him. I loved having dinner with him. They all did. In Miami, we all disagreed on how relationships should go. It was great. It was awesome. But Dan was saying on stream, like, you've talked to Brittany a lot, right? No, Dan, he hasn't. He has talked to me less than 6 hours of personal talk time. And then when I went to Miami, he didn't want any one-on-one time with me, which was great. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think Steven understands what being a close friend means.
Is there
but
any negative
that's
truth in
okay.
anything she's saying so far? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what there's just like, I'm just listening.
Or if maybe he has different definitions, I just don't agree with the definitions. So we were having a one-sided friendship that, like, for me was casual, for him was serious. Destiny is mad you distorted his opinions. I don't know what to say to that. I tried my best. I quoted him in saying things.
Apparently,
We're
I was
allowed to
obsessed
disagree.
with her and had
You know what I mean?
inappropriate understandings of our friendship, but
He
also
said,
I didn't
"Can you
want
say
to
before
be
you
friends
just
with her.
didn't
I
want
don't know.
to
I have no
be
idea.
drama farmed?" At the time, which he did, by the way, his name is not in this title. His picture is not in this thumbnail. Nobody knows what this video is about. He posted 2 videos of me on the internet, made a little friendship collage of the bridge burning, made it look like I was the crazy person. Literally, his viewers literally said, Brittany, you've been his best friend for 2 years. Girls, I haven't even known this man a year and what? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to say to you. There is a huge miscommunication happening on the internet, but I'm not trying to farm Destiny for drama. I'm trying to be clear about a content creator who's mischaracterizing me on the internet. And again, I did not use his picture in the thumbnail. My editor knows not to use any of his names in the thumbnail or in the title as clickbait. So again, when I was worried he was going to drama farm me, it was because Steven doesn't know how to have real relationships. He only knows how to make it content. If you're on the internet 15 hours a day, you do not touch grass. He doesn't even...
There's so much I could say, but I don't know what... I don't know. Yeah, the only reason any of this is public is because she farmed me initially on her stream by constantly comparing me to Sneeko. I think she knows that. I don't even know if it's worth like pointing that out. But yeah, that's literally the only reason why any of us are talking about any of this at all is because she wanted to farm. But
know how to have conversations about cheating with his wife in private. They have to come out on stream. Don't you see that, like, as a cry of help?
You have no idea what private conversations
like, that's
I have.
So interesting
like,
to me.
That's so interesting that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Brittany, apparently you can't criticize or else his fans say you are shitting on him. Well, I think that's the dilemma is like, look, you can make videos about me. You can do all the things about me that you think I'm doing wrong. I love those videos. I love watching them. Even, okay, guys, there is such a misunderstanding of what I'm doing on the internet, but I'm just here to make content and observe people and enjoy my life. I want to read a lot of books. I want to meet a lot of people. I want to have a friend on the internet. Here's my deepest goal. I want to have a streaming buddy that I can disagree with but explore ideas with. And I can say, hey, what's it like being a homewrecker when you fucking cheat? And they're not going to get offended. Because if you're going to do it, you might...
If she wanted to have that conversation, though, like, we could have. It's not like I'm hiding in my shit, right? It's not like somebody would ask me. I think this is... I feel like people have this understanding of me, and it's so wrong. And one of the most destructive to somebody... One of the most destructive ways this understanding, I think, came out was when Max pressured Anna to get those screenshots, and he had his huge confrontation moment with me on stream, and he thought he was gonna drop that bomb that I was gonna like fucking like, you and Anna still have a sexual relationship, and I'm like, oh no, like, and it's like, yeah, of course I do. I'm not gonna lie. I've said we've been good for like a year. Of course I'm saying that publicly. I'm not gonna lie about this. Like, but he thought that was gonna be like the bombshell that I would like never fess up to or something, right? People have these. I don't understand how people have these bizarre misunderstandings about me, but yeah, I don't know.
Might as well own it. Sneeko at least owned that he cheated on the love of his life. He said it. I cheated on her, man. I cheated on her.
What she is saying is not true. I don't think I could say anything else, but it's so wrong. She might just not even know.
Man, like he'll say it, and you can see that he's like, oh, and he lost that girl. Now Melina, of course,
she doesn't. I don't think she knows anything about anybody's private lives. I can't say anything.
allowed to consent to whatever relationship she wants. No judgment towards Melina. She's on a journey as well, and I support her decision to want to save or salvage that marriage or to end it. That's her business. But I think it's kind of sad that there's a running joke on the internet about whether or not they're going to get divorced. I think it's fucking sad that you're lying to your partners. I think it's sad that this is now what a normal relationship looks like, because to me, it's not normal. It's not common. Okay. It's not healthy. But it might be to you. In my bubbles, if you're the cheater, you're in fucking trouble.
You're so brave.
Right? Now, for people who are saying, like, give examples of Steve.
I think it's interesting how many, I'm trying to think if I have spots like this. She reminds me a lot of the Red Pillars when you look at them, like their entire life narrative has been forged by some woman that's like fucked them over before. It's like a like who hurt you kind of thing. And I can see that with her, it's the rape trauma thing, and then the I guess the cheating thing. Did Cherry type in the chat? If that's true, I guess that's been like super formative for her. It's interesting to see how many people like defined by their adverse experiences in their life. That's like once you're at that point, like it's over. Like that's it, you know?
Even doing X, Y, and Z, I literally can't unless I tell his secrets. So no. Steven can consent to those things coming out in public, but I will not be the one to say them because, again, there's no one being directly maliciously hurt. They are just things that cause a lot of pain and hurt, but everyone knows they're happening, so there's no reason to give examples because all the victims in the scenario know what's happening. And it's not domestic abuse, it's not rape, it's not sexual coercion, it's not anything Mr. Redacted is saying. Mr. Redacted is projecting. That's all that is. he should be ignored and no one should engage with him about his criticisms of Destiny unless he redacts everything he basically said except for the cheating scandal. Because that was the only thing that was kind of interesting. Everything else was bullshit. Okay, Steven was completely a gentleman to me in Miami. Though I did tell Melina that if he hit on me, I would end our friendship because I know he doesn't believe in the boundaries of marriage. Like, he doesn't mind playing with the boundaries of marriage. I told her, like, hey, tell your husband that if... Okay?
I don't think we ever had that conversation, ever, but okay.
If he hits on me, I'm going to end our friendship because I take my marriage very seriously. And that was another thing. Why does he keep telling the internet that I'm marrying a guy moving to Europe after 3 months? Why does he keep saying that? That's not what's happening. That's what's so confusing. Like, that's what I want.
Wait, is that not true? I'm sorry, that's my understanding of the timeline on things. Am I wrong? I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm not. I could be wrong on that. I guess my bad. That was my understanding on the timeline of things. But
people to understand is like these are different things. Like, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go to comments.
It's 5 months? Yeah, I could be wrong. I thought I heard her say that. My bad if that's not true. I don't know why she wouldn't just correct that, but.
Okay, did I get to all the super chats? Yes?
How do I not have 20 workers? Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, so is that it? Did we get it? Ray Ray says toxic marriage doesn't matter unless children are involved. And when Dee and Mel, there are no kids. I'm sorry.
God.
You're right. He's barely a father to Nathan, right? Nathan's just like doesn't exist.
True.
Like, that's what I'm saying. What are you guys talking about?
Oh, never mind, actually. This comment is way different than I initially interpreted it. Whoever clip chimped this really hard. I understand what she was saying now. She's not shitting on Nathan. She's shitting on the chatter for assuming there's no children involved. I understand what this is now.
Toxic relationships are fine as long as there's not kids involved?
Chatters are fucking retarded.
What does that mean? That's crazy. Is it Carlise? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. How do you even transition from dishonesty to honesty? Oh, like telling your parents about your alternative lifestyle. Even ever considered making a video about that journey? Yeah, I probably should. Here, let me write it down. Because I did. Now, I did tell my parents, because my parents are the kind of parents that they're really conservative. They don't like the content I do online, obviously. And they wish that I was making Catholic content, right? So again,
she's still implying you're negatively. Yeah, it's still kind of weird, but it's
okay,
at least more understandable than what I thought it was before.
You guys are so sensitive. I love it so much. It's just so sad. It's so sad. Grow the fuck up. Like, you want to be responsible and say you're an adult? Fucking be responsible. You want to read studies and reflect on them? Then look at it. A cheater who's cheated once is most likely to cheat again. A serial cheater is less likely to break the habit. So every girl that marries Destiny after Melina, if they get divorced, just know that you're statistically going to get cheated on, which means you're going to be lied to, right? So it's not meant to be offensive, but exactly, okay? The only reason I brought up his parenting is because that comment literally said, there's no kids involved. Nathan is a child, is he not? Nathan is now watching his father be a serial cheater, and now he's probably gonna treat women that way.
Jesus Christ!
What are you guys
never
on
mind.
about?
It got
Does
way
Steven have a
weirder.
child
Never
or
mind.
not? Is he a father or not? Stop saying there are not children in that marriage. Melina is a stepmother. Like, I have no idea where your morals are right now. I have no idea where your ethics stand. It's so strange. But you do you. Okay, so again, how did I explain to my parents? They were so upset. How did I explain to my parents about my alternative life? Because guys, it's hard. It's hard being honest with people. And
I like that she brings up stats
saying?
now, though. Now it's really important.
Hard.
Now
Okay.
stats are really important.
How did I explain to my
Whereas
parents?
before it was like, they might not fully
Yeah, I don't
encapsulate
think any of you
my
have
life.
a case and you know it. Unless you stand on the case that you can be dysfunctional, then you and I are having different conversations. You cannot be dysfunctional and say you're healthy. So it's fine if he says he's dysfunctional, but I'm not sure that he can say he's healthy. Ooh, thank you so much for the super chats. Berserk Chip. Berserk. Earlier in the stream, you stopped yourself from saying irregardless to say regardless, and I just want you to know that is okay. You can say irregardless if you want. It's more fun. Thank you so much. I got in that stupid fucking habit. You know what I mean?
Use the counter bubble technique.
Okay. Second super chat from Robert. Thank you. The fact that Destiny sees most things from the lens of content and reacts to others like a React channel is what I was saying when he went off. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't want to discuss our friendship on the internet. My friendship with him is like, I'm confused. Do you want a real friendship where it's not about clout, or do you want to farm me for views? Because like, this is so strange. Do you think you're healthy? I think I am the healthiest I can be in this moment, but I am aiming to be healthier. I mean, I just got diagnosed with like, or I'm getting diagnosed with like possible fibromyalgia and autoimmune. So I mean, I'm literally not healthy. I have borderline and PTSD, which means I am mentally, I'm in like remission or unhealthiness back and forth. So my life is healthy. All my relationships are healthy. Everyone is on the same page. My partner's on the same page. My parents are on the same page. His parents are on the same page. Everybody agrees that life is as healthy as it can be, and we're all working on everything else. But I stay within my values and I don't go against them. And that for me is healthy. So I have values and I stick to them even when it's uncomfortable, right? So that's what's really important. But I don't know if someone with PTSD or autoimmune or anything else could ever be considered healthy. But I don't think that discounts you from being reasonable or healthy in the way that we might mean casually. Like you know what I mean? If a person who has cancer, are they healthy? It's like, no, yes. So
What is she even saying right now? That's obviously,
great
that's not what
question from
anybody's
Isaac.
asking.
Why did you call it Destiny Anti-Sex Work after the OF Con? Okay, so let me explain this, because I think huge miscommunication as well. Okay. Destiny is lukewarm pro-sex work.
What?
When I have conversations with Steven, so this could be the issue, is Steven might be a contrarian or a devil's advocate debater, but when he's talking to conservatives, it's like he's totally pro-sex work. When he's talking to me, it's like he's hesitant about OF impacting the public. So I am pro sex work, period. Like sex work, period. Consenting adults, period. There is no conversation. I don't care how it impacts society. I don't care when it comes to legal rights. I don't care any of those things. So when Steven was talking to me, he made the argument that maybe OF isn't healthy. And when I tried to explain my perspective on sex work, which I think is a good one, I was considered the exception. Nah, that didn't happen. No way. Like, no way. Even when I talked about the fact that like some people see me as trans, no way. Can't happen. It's like, that's fine, but that doesn't open dialogue. I can't speak. I can't share an experience. I can't have a conversation. So again, as a content creator to content creator, this is why content creators are literally behind closed doors, or even on their streams, they'll be like, yeah, Destiny's not fun to talk to. Because he just, okay, buddy, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. He doesn't engage.
Did she copy that from a Chud Logic convo? Wait, what? I do not have personal conversations when I'm playing games. Our personal conversations are way different than conversation on stream. If you just pop into my fucking Discord to chat with me about some like random shit we don't even really have anything to talk about. Oh. Okay. It's okay.
He only wants drama, which is why he lets Lav back in his life, and why I bet he'll let Mr. Redacted into his life again. Because the ones of us who are trying to have, I think, more reasonable conversations without the yelling, that's less interesting, right? So again, I'm fine with how he does his content. I don't care. His audience isn't primarily my audience. I primarily work with women, but I also love the men in my audience. I just want people to understand where I'm coming from. I just want them to understand where I'm coming from. Yeah.
How much more? Are we almost done with this? Holy shit.
Yeah. I like strongly. Yeah. I'm happy answering any question about my life on the internet. I don't answer questions for my private friends and family, but you know, I try to stay within my values. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I've worked really hard to amend them. When I was diagnosed with borderline, you know, I had to go to every person I hurt and apologize to them. That was a requirement of my therapy. Did it feel good? Yeah, after. But before, I was really upset. What do you mean I have to apologize? I'm sick. I've been sick since I was a kid, and these people made me sick. Why should I have to apologize? And like my therapist said, because even though it's something that happened to you, you did things while manic that you need to apologize for. And even though you're suffering, isn't it within your values to apologize when you hurt people? And I was like, yeah. So I had to go apologize to people I hurt, whether I was sick or not. right? And then they understood that at least I made an effort to say, hey, I'm fucked up right now. I'm
Do
sorry.
these houses spawn zombies infinitely?
You know?
There's no way, right?
Count says this sounds like you're mad at that he doesn't agree with you. Look, my best friends don't agree with me. My Discord and I disagreed so heavily yesterday. We had a discussion on truth, and we were disagreeing on like what is truth. Like my friends in my family, like they don't have to agree with me. Half my friends are Catholic. Half my friends are anti-LGBT. Well, not my friends, but my family. You know, my friends are all pro-LGBT, but my family isn't. So I don't need people to agree with me, but I do need them to at least have a value system I can rely on. So I don't know what Steven's value system is. Like, I can't rely on him to be consistent in that way. I genuinely didn't know he was going to burn the bridge. Don't you guys understand that? When I was on stream last time, I genuinely had no clue what was happening. I know Steven. He's blunt. He's always, like, aggressive. He's always calling people horrible names on Twitter. He would never burn the bridge out over this. And then he did. And I just don't know why. Like, I just don't know why.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? It's so weird. Like, it's just so strange. Yeah, so if you make content out of your life, you're a great example of how to have a dysfunctional, unhealthy relationship. I'm so sorry. I recommend getting out of it. Try couples counseling. There's therapy. There are options. But yeah, this is not how you should treat people. You shouldn't lie to people. You shouldn't deceive people. Well, let me rephrase. You shouldn't do this to your spouses, right? I'm not trying to be personal about it. I'm trying to be very matter of fact. According to Brittany's values, these are not good things.
So
if you disagree, great. We should talk about why you're pro or tolerant cheating or pro lying to your partner. It would be a very interesting
I am
conversation.
pro cheating. True, based.
Summary says, if I tip 20, can I hop in next? So if you guys want to call into the show, you have to, I assume that's what you're talking about. You have to join the Discord. So you cannot, you can't do it through this, whatever this is, YouTube. You have to do it through Discord chat because that's how this boomer knows how to do things. Yeah, Mancho says maybe he was feeling some kind of pressure from the Mr. Girl article. I think so. I think he genuinely was probably really stressed about it and didn't really mean to take it out on me, but he did. And that's fine because that shows me what kind of character he has. Right? And unless he was medically triggered, would Steven like to admit he was triggered? Because then I could give an exception. Because if he wasn't triggered and he was being rational, then he was being incredibly inappropriate. Pip Master, thank you for the super chat. Are you still cool with ABBA? Also skipped my chat. Oh my gosh, scrolling up. I am cool with ABBA as far as I know. I'm cool with everybody in that vicinity. So as far as I know, I'm good with everyone but Steven. Minus Max and Lab, obviously. Because I blocked them months ago. It's funny. Yeah, anyways, okay. I don't see a super chat. Wait, you also skipped my chat. Where is it, bro? Wait, I don't see it. I'm so sorry. I don't see this super chat. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it up in my YouTube file. So again, I just want to say I think Steven's a good person who does bad things, and I think that's pretty human. I'm a good person who's done bad things. I try not to do bad things now. I'm not always perfect at it, but I think I do pretty good because I stick within my values. So again, this is very important. This is a values conversation more than anything. And I don't think people know what that means.
I have none.
Okay, hold on.
Based.
Where
True.
would that be? Monetization? Question mark? Question mark. Earn? Supers. Super chats. If you're mad he cheats, why didn't you DM him? Well, he knows I'm upset he cheated. I told him in private. What do you mean?
Did she?
He knows that. And I didn't talk about it on stream until his wife made it public. And then it allowed me to, as a content creator, comment on it. Do you know what I'm saying? But he knew in private that I disapproved. Obviously, I heavily disapprove. So he knows that. He knows I'm very upset with how it happened.
I don't think so.
I am not okay with anything.
Unless I totally missed
that,
that, but
that's what I'm
okay,
saying. He
maybe.
can't pretend
I don't
he's
know.
shocked unless he didn't hear me when I criticized him in private. Like, that's what I'm saying. Okay,
Maybe I was playing
I think I
Factorio
read
for
all
that
the super
conversation, I
chats,
guess.
guys. I think I'm up to date with them.
Chud was right.
Oh, I see it. I'm sorry, Pitmaster, I see it. Can you please take a quick look at Destiny's stream? Is really upset and what you said about him.
Please stop doing
he's a
it.
grown
That's so
adult,
cringe. Oh
as he
my
likes to
god.
point out. And like I said, if he's really watching this right now, you can contact me. But you already said not to contact you. So I'm not going to watch your stream on my stream.
That's fine.
I'm not really interested in that to me.
That's totally okay. I'm fine with that.
You know what I mean? But I just want to explain how I think, because I think it is unique-ish, but not really. Look, you're an individual living on a planet, and we don't know why we're here. We're probably evolved animals. I doubt there's a god, but maybe, right? We're doing our best to be good to the people around us. And all I'm saying is that we're all trying to do it through different bubbled lenses. Like the person who wrote me that very nice super chat said, oh, that seems strange that you wouldn't take good advice from somebody no matter who gave it to you. And I said, that's a great point. For me, it's really strange to take advice from someone who doesn't walk the walk.
She loves that phrase.
That alone is like that bubble difference. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, right? That's what I'm saying. I feel like Steven's more hurt that I talk shit on him on stream than cheating on his wife. That's what it feels like. He's shown no remorse, not gotten upset over it, blamed Melina for it on stream, said, well, it's not my fault. You didn't have sex with anyone for 4 months. Ma'am. Ma'am.
I do blame Melina.
It's like
True.
I
do blame Melina. Yeah.
How could you be so upset about a YouTuber having an opinion about
Every bad thing, I want this to be known for me and Melina when we get divorced, okay? Because it's coming, okay? Every single bad thing I've ever done to Mel is her fucking fault, okay? Absolutely. That is the most based and true take I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Yes, true.
That you've only talked to for less than 6 hours. It's very abnormal. But maybe in his bubble, that is what's normal. Okay. Super chat. Isn't betrayal a definition than cheating? A better definition than cheating? Well, cheating is when you've negotiated a premise and then gone against it, which he did. And then it is a betrayal in a sense if the context warrants it. But that's up to his wife if she feels like she was betrayed. Right? But the cheating is definitional. Brittany, would you acknowledge that at least that was pretty wild that you said Sneeko is more open-minded than Sneeko? No. I think you meant Destiny is more open-minded than Sneeko. No, I already clarified that earlier. Okay, so, yeah, are we good? Are we good?
Please, let us be good.
A man on the internet inappropriately assumed we were closer than we were and went off and blew up on social media because a YouTuber had an opinion about his open public.
Did I blow up on social media?
Is everyone good?
Or is she just including my stream, I guess?
You talked about his kid. I talked about his parenting based off of what his own commenters are saying. If his commenters are going to say there's no kids in the relationship with Melina and Steven, so he can be dysfunctional, then they're basically ignoring the fact that he's a father and he can no longer own the fact that he's a dad. But he is a dad whose son knows he's a content creator, so his son's going to watch his dad be a serial cheater and probably mimic the behavior with other women. That's pretty fucking normal. Like, that's what I'm saying. Are you guys... Hello? Are we paying attention? Children mimic their parents. It's not that deep. Okay. Waiting room is open if you guys want to call into Discord. I did not see any more super chats, so I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the chat, and you guys can, if you want the priority, you can super chat, but otherwise I'll just answer comments starting from here. This has nothing to do with the closeness of your relationship, but that's not based off the comments I'm getting. I just don't get it. Then I don't understand why anyone's upset. I did not say anything that was a lie, and I did not say anything that slandered him. So why are you upset? I have no idea why.
Why are we just watching this?
I know why
don't
he
know.
thinks
Because
he's
chat
upset,
wants me to watch
which
it.
is
That's why.
different. Yeah, so that's different. I gotta let my cat out. Hold on. Okay, I think that was a pretty successful rundown. So So when you have children, you're going to be open and honest with your alternative lifestyle, or will you be forced to quit that lifestyle you said you love so much? Oh, hell no. My kid's going to know all about their mama. I'm not hiding anything from my children. Why would I hide anything from them? At an appropriate age, they absolutely would do that. Pimp Master with a super chat says, Sneeko was a serial cheater too. Is he condemned? He is 1000% condemned. I told him that in our private phone calls, and I told that to his ex-girlfriend. And they ain't together, are they?
Are they?
So it all worked out. They're
I
not
have no
together.
idea, actually.
That was the consequence of him cheating. He lost a wonderful woman. He knows what he lost.
She's
of course
so
the cheating
triggered.
is condemned,
Holy
right?
shit, she's so triggered over that. Oh my god.
That's crazy that people think I haven't told Sneeko to his face. Like, as if I didn't tell his girl. Okay? Come on. You think I didn't tell them that? Why do you think he thinks he is upset? I have no idea why Destiny is upset. Considering what other people have done to him online, I have no idea what he thinks I said.
True.
You know what I mean? It's just so strange. How do you think Steven should deal with the cheating now? Remorsefully, humbly,
True.
and with couples counseling.
True.
Sneeko still supports cheating. So yeah, you can be, I know lots of people who support cheating. So I condemn that philosophy. I don't know if Sneeko actually supports cheating.
Oh my
right
God.
now. I think he's changing too much for me to keep track of it. Right?
Bubbles.
But I am friends with people who support cheating. So I am friends with people who are pro-cheating, who are cheating tolerant. I just let everybody know that, hey, if you date my friend, they're pro-cheating. So if my friend is somebody who like sleeps with married people or does cheating stuff, I just let people know, hey, I love my friend. They're a really good person, but also they cheat. So just like FYI. And then people can decide if they want to marry or date them or something. Jay, hey Jay, welcome with the super chat. Says, going forward, burn before the bridge burn, did you ever envision still being able to visit Destiny's home while publicly criticizing his marriage? Yes, because I've been doing so for a year. I get so many open relationship questions about their relationship, which is why I always recommend The Ethical Slut, and why I always tell people, like, I've been criticizing Destiny's relationship for literally over a year. He doesn't watch my content. I also criticize Sneeko. I also criticize a lot of people. I am very critical. I'm giving my opinion, but like, that is my job. So I guess I'm surprised, but not surprised. He told me he didn't watch my content. So that's not my fault, right? Like, Steven, I feel sometimes because he makes so much content himself, he doesn't really consume even his like friends or orbiters' content. So he doesn't even understand what's happening. But yeah, I've already been clear. My best friend,
I am retarded.
my whole inner circle, I have a brother who cheated on his wife. And what did all the siblings do? We all got together and decided we would help her get a divorce if she wanted one. She decided not to want one, and so they kind of like learned to repair their marriage. But the moment I found out my brother cheated, ma'am, click, 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 click. You cannot be cheating on your fucking wife. That is a huge fucking faux pas in my bubble. Like, no. And so, yeah, if people are mad that they did something bad and then somebody outed them, that's life. Now, a lot of people cheat apparently, and apparently it's really normal for people, but it is not normal to me, and I think it's super bad.
Brave.
Right? So, again, brother, sister, best friend, I don't care. Bro, I'm going to drag you by your hair, and I'm going to force you to be consistent with your values. Now, if somebody says they're pro-cheating, well, then how can I hold them accountable? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Discord, for letting me know someone's waiting in the Discord chat. I'm going to bring them up. But, like, literally, how do you, like, if you tell me you're pro-cheating, then I'll support your right to be pro-cheating. But you better own it. Stop saying you're, like, ethical and moral and you treat your partners good and you believe in consent when you're violating their consent by cheating. Okay, ready? Hey, Hot Chocolate, you're in my waiting room right now. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can. How are you?
Oh my god, it's like the Mr. Girl
Doing
hotline.
good. Is my mic okay?
I think it is. Chat will probably tell me, but as of right now, my OBS says you are doing great.
Okay. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna try to get my points
Me too.
across.
Please do.
Okay. I've been a fan of you and Destiny for
Oh,
like
God. It's
a
gonna be
year.
all Destiny
I
colors.
actually started watching Destiny through you,
Oh,
and I kind of
wonderful.
I vibe with him more because he's a guy like me. So so
Totally.
I think you are correct about the miscommunication thing, but I want to try to, because I'm kind of a Destiny simp, And so I want to try to explain it through my perspective a little
Wonderful.
bit. Right?
Love it.
And so the first thing that I think happened from my perspective is I was watching you break down the discussion you had with Destiny about sexual assault, right? Like months and months and months ago. And I don't know if you remember, but you were trying to like reiterate the question that Destiny asked, and how you phrased it was, let me think. You said something like, Destiny asked if, or he was saying that people should just get over their rapes, right? You were saying like that was the question. Do you remember that kind of, sort of?
Yeah. Well, I think the way that the question carries out insinuates that people should be able to get over their rapes better, which is why when Destiny says, I'm not talking to rape victims about this anymore, he's literally saying, I don't want to face the consequences of rape in
What? I just said I didn't want to talk to people that would get triggered. Oh, it's okay. I don't care. It's okay.
people. Because he thinks they should get over it. But rape causes extreme trauma, except for the few that it doesn't. So again, the follow through, even the way I was getting messages from people in his audience saying, like, this is why Brittany sucks. She can't be in control of her rape. Like, she should never have been traumatized by it. Like, so I'm saying there is the way he speaks, which is fine, but that is the way that it could be heard. And so I needed clarification. But I think ultimately what we disagreed on, and correct me if I'm wrong, is only one thing. We only disagreed on one thing at the end after all the conversations, and it's whether or not.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, so we're good there. Okay, good.
But originally,
Oh, I wish you would have said what we disagreed on.
Okay, so all those people that say stupid stuff, they're dumb. All right, but disconnected from that, I was one of those people. I don't know if you remember in the chat saying like, I think Destiny said this, because like I think you would agree the connotation between what I think the original question was, societally, does society or does upbringing affect a person's perception of their trauma? I'm sorry if I'm like misphrasing what he said, but that was what I think the original question, and your explanation of what you felt like the question was, like people just should get over their rapes. Like, I feel like that's vastly different. Do you disagree?
Yes,
like even,
I think those two points are vastly different. But so so over the course of the time I had talked to him till now, I have had discussions with so many people that now there is no way to even go back to what we ever originally talked about. We have to either start fresh and redo the conversation, because it's too much to go back now. Because even Steven misunderstood, like, somebody came to my Discord and shared their rape story, and I talked about it on stream to Dr. Kirk, and Steven thought I was talking about Ayla, but I wasn't talking about Ayla. So Steven, there's so much miscommunication happening, so many layers of miscommunication.
I mean, like, it's hard not to believe that when you're like literally making like references to both of us snidely in this very conversation. Like,
that I think we need to start over, genuinely, which I'm happy to do.
For sure. But as a parasocial viewer, let me try to explain what I think the thought process was. And so he had a question originally that he felt like he was asking in good faith.
I agree,
right?
but that original question, I was medically triggered that day from my PTSD when I came on stream, right?
For sure. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And so, I understand that and accept that for sure.
Right. So are people upset that he's using language that I can't quite understand? Because even though I keep asking him about it, I'm not getting the clear answer.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just trying to explain the first thing that I feel like happened, right? And so that situation happened, and since he asked that question in good faith, and then the next day or like a couple days later when you went on stream, the way you broke it down was like vastly different from how he meant it. It caused some, because like I've had the same thing happen to me. I've been misinterpreted like vastly by people, and it hurts, especially when it's someone, because like he considers you so intelligent, and he was going to give you his bank account information.
No, I wasn't
that
going
was
to give her
kinda
my
dumb.
bank
But,
account. I'm just saying I would trust her with my
'cause he
financial
trusted
shit.
you
I
a
still
lot
don't
to
think she would fucking
interpret
steal
him
money
the
from me. I think
way
she's relatively
that,
trustworthy. Jesus.
You know, he wanted to be interpreted, and so
Yeah.
the fact that you
I
would
can't. Right.
Yeah.
Can you understand though? Like now I'm being put on a pedestal of perfection that I am admitting I can't do.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
admitting
I understand
That I
understand.
cannot hear him. That his communication style is making it so he's not saying what I think he thinks he's saying to an audience of rape victims.
For sure. But I'm just saying that was the first thing. So that was what I feel
sure.
like his perspective was. And so that's one. And then you guys like solved it and all that stuff, right? You guys like
Right.
semi figured it out, right?
Right.
So that happened. And then, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes with you guys, but like you guys had conversations and then things was chilling. And then something
We had one
happened.
text conversation where I said I needed friends I could disagree with on the internet, and he said for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So everything was a-okay.
Yeah.
And then you ended up having a stream with, I think his name was Dr. Kirk.
Kirk. Yes.
Yeah. I watched most of it. I did not watch all of it, but during it, so I agree with what you said about Destiny. And one thing, like sometimes when he asks questions, or most of the time, he already has like an opinion on it. And he even said the same thing, right? Because he doesn't just really say things out of nowhere. It's always based in something he's heard, whether it's like other people's experience or like reading that he's done, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, when you were talking to Dr. Kirk, I watched it, and some of it, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but in some of it, it felt like you wanted a certain answer
Oh God.
from him a little bit. You can tell me if I'm wrong on that.
Well, he was on a very strict time limit, so I wanted to move
Yeah.
the conversation towards getting to an answer, which I felt pretty satisfied about. If Destiny's happy with the Dr. Kirk interview, I'm also happy with it.
Did you watch Destiny's, like, when he watched it, or have you looked at...
Yeah, I watched some of it, but that's the thing. I don't know why Destiny kept saying those things about me when I did agree with him in his bubble. He's giving advice that could make sense, but he's not speaking generally the way he thinks he is, which Dr. Kirk's work is predicated on never speaking generally, except when we have to.
Why would any psychologist ever say that? Never speaking generally except when we have to? Okay.
So, like, Dr. Kirk would never say, men do this and women do this, right?
For sure.
So
But
Destiny, but I know.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that this guy must, if you're a psychologist, of course you're going to make Dr. Dirk. No. You must make Kirk? I don't know what the fuck. Of course you make statements about, like, in general, like, people generally do these things, people generally do these things. Oh, these fucking titles. Love is Blind. Is that just the name of his fucking podcast? Woman on woman sexual assault. Do you think he makes generalizations about women or women on women sexual assault here? Like, oh my God, 90 Day Fiance. It's a Hassan fan. I'm just kidding.
Understand? Like, listen, this is what I'm trying to say. Because I have no problem with being misheard. I have no problem with miscommunication. And I have no problem rephrasing things. When I said to Dr. Kirk, like, should people just get over their rapes? That was a question not coming directly from Steven, but the way the conversation had brought about the question. Because again, I was being compared to Ayla and other women, and they were saying, see, this is why Brittany doesn't know what she's talking about, because she's not over her rape. But if you've never been traumatized by rape, then you don't know how to get over the traumatization of rape. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay. I
So
completely
again,
understand.
I'm not, but this is important. I could have had that same conversation with Dr. Kirk and never brought up Steven. And I maybe should have, but that's the thing. I had those questions anyways. I had questions from other people in the audience. I had questions in my mind from other people I'd seen on Reddit. So it's not that I meant to misrepresent Steven, but Steven has issues with every community on the internet over the last year because of the way he communicates. So there is a common denominator here, and I need him to admit that he speaks a little different.
I feel like people only focus on the negatives. Like, I have issues with every community on the internet. I do, but it's also because I reach out to like tons of different communities on the internet. I think I'm also probably more widely accepted than almost any other, how full of myself do you want to be, than maybe almost any other political person on the internet. Like, I feel like I could have a conversation with pretty far left and pretty far right people, and their audience will generally come and say like, I'm not a big fan of this guy, but blah, blah, blah. I'm also liked in a lot of different places too. I have a very wide reach. I've cast a very wide net. There's a lot of people on the internet that don't like me. There's a lot of people that do like me. Like,
Okay,
You know
can
what
I
I'm
cut
saying?
in? Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. I see what you're saying 100%, but like if we can both agree that you kind of misinterpreted him.
I
the
did.
first
I
time.
already said that though, Habibi. When I say
for
I've
sure.
made a miscommunication, that's me admitting it.
Yeah, no worries,
I
no worries. I'm
cannot-
just sorry.
But
yeah,
no,
trying to
I'm not
raise
upset
it.
with you. But I've
Okay.
heard this 1,000 times from people. What should I say to make people
Yeah.
understand that I understand? I cannot understand what Steven is saying. That's why I
I
wanted to
completely-
talk to him, but
Yeah,
Steven blocked
sure.
me. So he's
Okay,
not giving me a chance to understand him, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I see what you're saying, but
So
right
what's
now
the problem?
I'm just trying to lay the groundwork real quick.
Yeah, but the
okay?
groundwork is for my lived history. So I'm asking you, like, what are you trying to make me see that you think I don't already see?
Okay, I'm trying to lay the groundwork for what I'm about to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So if we agree that you kind of misinterpreted Destiny the first time, and
Yes.
you reiterated the same misinterpretation to Dr. Kirk.
I don't think I did.
he-
I disagree on that point. I don't think I did.
Okay. When just listen to me real quick. I'm talking
God,
from
this
Destiny's
caller.
perspective. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The way you phrased the question, how you felt like Destiny said that people should just get over their rapes, and then when you were talking to Dr. Kirk,
No.
even
That's
if
the misunderstanding. I never said Destiny said that. Like, I'm not
The
saying
first
Destiny.
time?
No. Are you talking about when I was medically triggered? This is what I'm
Can
saying.
you-
This is so
Yeah, can-
confusing. I will say it right
Okay,
now.
okay.
I am
Show
not
me
saying that
one-
Destiny,
okay.
Stephen Bunnell, is
Yeah.
pro-rape.
Yes, I understand completely. Can you give me
Okay.
one moment? One moment.
Oh, God.
I'll try
Okay.
to explain it in like the most clear way I'm capable.
I just feel
of.
like there's a lot of miscommunication happening even right
Yeah.
now.
For sure. Let
Okay.
me try. So in all the way back, let's go back in time, all the way back, there was the first miscommunication when you were medically triggered, right?
Yes.
And the way that you phrase or paraphrase what, yes.
Okay. I know what I'm sorry. This is a little frustrating
okay.
because again, it's
Explain.
it
your
doesn't matter how you
frustration.
say it. If our language
Okay.
is different, I'll always say it the way I'm going to say it because that's how I'm hearing it.
Yeah, I completely understand, and we already got over that. I'm just trying
Oh,
to.
God, this is like almost a
explain
Max
what I
conversation.
feel like Destiny's perception was, and so like just take it out
I really
of
wish
like.
my friend would just talk to me himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have if
understand,
you
but,
wouldn't
like,
have gone
the purpose
online and
of
publicly
this is
blown
to
me
try
up.
to understand the perception of like what people have a problem with you for, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But they don't. Do they know they don't have the right to be mad at me for an opinion?
Yeah,
get mad at people for
100%.
So a
Opinions?
miscategorization. But here's the thing: when he says, like, do you guys understand how he talks causes
Yeah.
the miscommunication as well? So I just need him to
Completely.
clarify it to me again, which I thought we did
Yeah.
with ABBA, and so I thought we
Yeah.
were good. So why is it being brought up again if I fixed it already?
Because right now, I'm sorry, Brittany.
No, it's okay,
Right now,
but you
I'm
have to
trying so
understand.
hard.
I'm living in the
Yeah.
present, and everyone keeps going back to the past. But I'm trying to say right now, I
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
thought Steven and I cleared it up. We already talked about it. We agreed on stream. He's just upset with the way I'm like saying it. But that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
explain to him. It sounds like even if he's not saying that, I can't. It's like when a conservative says to you, like, you wore that dress and that's why you got raped. No matter how many
Yeah.
times you say it, you're still saying the same thing. That
Yeah.
the dress got you raped. That's what Steven is saying.
Yeah, Brittany.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the worst
Can I-
example that
can
she
I
could
please
use.
Finish
but-
what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Like,
I'm
yeah.
letting you know. I'm giving you time
Yeah.
on here, and I want you to speak up. But I also
Yeah.
need you to like say the thing.
Yeah, I'm trying my best too.
Okay.
Okay. Just give me one moment. You can kick me off whenever you want. I don't want to take up too much time on your stream. But what I'm trying to explain, I'm trying to say it real quick. I'm gonna go back in time one more time. That's how you phrased it that time, right? That first time when you were medically triggered. you weren't talking about Destiny during the Dr. Kirk thing. You might have even specified that you weren't talking about Destiny during that, but you also phrased it the same exact way that you did the first time when you were medically triggered. You phrased the question that same way. Do you remember?
Yes, because but he agreed. No, but wait. He came on stream and he told me how to phrase the question. Abba and I agreed. That's how he's phrasing it. My audience agreed, so I went and presented it that way. So
Wait,
that's what I'm
what?
saying. There is a huge miscommunication happening.
I don't even know what she's referring to now. I'm not sure.
Huge miscommunication happening.
Okay. All right. No worries.
Like, it's
I
okay
don't-
if I'm the one miscommunicating, but what Steven said to me on stream, I said to Dr. Kirk. He even said it again. So I'm very confused. Now I need to
Okay.
talk to Steven directly or something, because something is wrong.
Okay. I don't know if he's watching this or
Yeah.
not, but yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I did have some other things too, maybe, but I don't want to take up too much of your time.
I
and
mean,
stuff
if you feel
that.
like they're pertinent, we can. If you want to ask me how I think, we can.
Mhm.
But again,
Um,
like, I have the lived experience. Steven and I know what happened behind closed doors as well as in front.
Yeah.
So it's a little awkward when chatters try to figure it out. But it is confusing because he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine if I'm miscommunicating,
I
but I need
understand
to
what you're talking
know
about.
how.
I understand what you're talking about, but like, is it?
Oh
Okay,
God,
no
he's
worries,
still
no
going,
worries.
dude. Just
Can you give me one moment to think really quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now,
I
I
was-
do.
I
Now,
was-
is it
yeah.
this? Because maybe this is the confusion.
Okay.
When I came back and I thought about it and I wanted to reiterate the thing, I
Mm-hmm.
still think that is his question is
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
a good question, but I think we come from different perspectives of like he thinks generally and I think individual. So I'm thinking like society can only do so much, but personally you can do so much more. And so when
Yeah.
he phrased the question, like when he says men are being emotionally raped by being friend zoned, that's a very hyperbolic way to say that men are emotionally abused by women who take advantage of them, right?
For sure. Yeah.
one thing I will say is I'm always surprised, and I understand it's because I work a lot. Copiums in chat, go ahead. But I work a lot. I'm always surprised at how much time other people have to watch all my shit. That always blows my mind. Like I had no idea. No, I guess that's actually not fair. I'll do the same thing that I say for me. It's probably not that she watches my shit. It's probably that people link her my shit. That's probably what's happening. That'd be my guess.
Right. So I think that's what's happening here is that we both speak sort of like exaggerated and it gets taken out of context, but also when we communicate to each other, it's confusing. Like when, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think anyone's being evil or malicious. I just don't think we know how to communicate clearly.
Okay. So real quick, I'm not going to take up too much of your
Oh
time.
my
like I
God,
said,
bro.
but I'm going to try to zoom out as much as possible and just like break it down really fast. And
Okay.
so in a zoomed out way, when you were medically triggered that first time, he felt like he was being mischaracterized. And you agree that you were mischaracterizing, at least his words, in that moment because you were medically triggered, right?
I agree that in that moment, I could not characterize him correctly, but outside of that moment, I feel like I did.
Okay, fair. So moving forward, during that Dr. Kirk interview, he might have felt like, even if you weren't doing it at all, he might have felt like through like the words you were saying and stuff
Right.
like that,
For
that
sure.
you were mischaracterizing his position again. And
Yeah.
because you had a short amount of time, you were trying to lead the conversation in the way that you wanted it to go. But
Yeah.
from his perspective, he felt like, and I'm not trying to mischaracterize it again, but he felt like Dr. Kirk was saying the exact same things that he was saying the
Right.
whole time, and that you didn't really want those answers, or you were quickly to agree with what he was saying, which is fair because he's like a medical professional and stuff like that. When you were so like ready to disagree and mischaracterize Destiny, and
Jesus
that
Christ.
you were like extra happy when Dr. Kirk was saying things that you
Right.
would
Because
want
I agreed
to-
with Destiny on 99% of his take for his bubble.
Yeah.
So of course I
understandable.
agreed with Dr. Kirk. So what's the issue?
100%. 100%. But I'm just saying,
I understand his
and-
perspective, but do you understand how it's wrong? How he never heard me in the first place, so he thought I wouldn't agree with Dr. Kirk, but why wouldn't I agree with Dr. Kirk? Also, Dr. Kirk's reasonings are different. You do know the difference between the why, right? So Destiny's why is different than Dr. Kirk's why. But the information was, I agreed on all of the same information. I never disagreed with it. So there's no reason for me not to be happy with the way it went with Dr. Kirk when he gave me every answer that I wanted to hear, along with giving Destiny every answer he wanted to hear. That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so why aren't we all celebrating?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's a fantastic
8,000.
thing, but I'm still explaining Destiny's perception.
Okay,
I'm
I
not-
need
Bro,
to
you
stop
gotta
you here.
go. Yeah, Jesus.
We're not
I'm trying
Destiny, and I need to hear from Destiny because I can't trust a stranger on the internet to advocate for somebody.
Okay.
So
Absolutely
it's kind
no
of
worries.
inappropriate, right?
Yeah, absolutely no worries.
Is that
It was not-
fair?
Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
good. Okay.
I was just trying to. Thank
I
you.
know. I appreciate it so
the
much.
time.
Thank you so much.
Have a good stream,
You
Brittany.
too. Bye. Yeah, guys, moving forward, no one can call in to talk about Destiny. He has to do it himself.
Good job, guys.
Because, like, it doesn't make sense for us to try to mind read him. I was very happy with my interview with Dr. Kirk. I love Dr. Kirk's work. I don't agree with him and all his premises either. Like, Dr. Kirk said something really interesting where he's like, oh, most religious people shouldn't have a reason to not be pro-LGBT. I don't agree with that because I think in their doctrines it says they shouldn't. But I don't need to disagree with Dr. Kirk to understand what he's saying about the subject matter we were talking about, which was rape and assault. So I agreed with Destiny that a lot of these things are happening. So Destiny just really thinks I'm disagreeing with him when I am not. I'm not disagreeing with anything he said. I think all bubbles represent a form of truth. So
Tell me.
again, I think that's the miscommunication. Why does everyone keep thinking I'm disagreeing with him? I'm disagreeing with his opinion that the initial rape is only, like, let's say 20% of the damage versus 80. I think somebody said that in a comment. Like, my premise is, that's what I was asking Dr. Kirk, how much of the damage gets done during the rape versus the compounding? We don't know. That was the answer. That's a great answer. We don't actually really know yet, right? But we know compounding trauma, it impacts people, which I agree with. But I was always upset about the idea that you can get raped and not have trauma because that insinuates that the rape itself is not traumatic, which can happen. Dr. Kirk said that. It can happen. People can get raped and have no trauma. That's great. But then what it does is it puts in the minds of people, well, if some people can get raped without getting trauma.
Oh, I can't believe she's saying this one out loud. Yeah, this was my... I'm not going to vote. This was the issue that I think people run into, is when you give this opinion of, like, some people might not be as affected by as other people would be, then the reason why people fight against that is because in their mind they think, well, fuck, if that person's not affected and I am affected, that means there's something wrong with me. That's, like, a big issue that comes up. But this isn't, like, a fact-based or, like, a reasonable or introspective way of viewing the world. It's just it's an emotionally protective way of viewing the world, basically.
Traumatized, then all people who get raped shouldn't be traumatized because humans make crazy leaps with their brains. So I wanted to make sure, because as a person who's LGBT and a Middle Eastern person, you have to do a lot of activism to get people to understand what's really happening. It's the same thing with the dress thing. If a woman is slutty and dresses that way, does she deserve to be raped? It's exactly it's not about the dress. The dress does not get you raped, okay? So again, this is just a miscommunication. It's literally a miscommunication on both of our ends, but I'm not getting clarity. So you have to clarify it. Like, you have to be clear. What are we really disagreeing with? Because I agree that these things happen. I agree that men are emotionally abused by women. Would I call it emotional rape? No. That's an outrageous claim to think that it's equal to being raped. But also, Destiny's a person who says he's rather be punched in the nose than get raped. So rape isn't that bad to Destiny. But to me, it's worse than anything else. So of course we're coming from
Wait, did I
different
say that?
perspectives. Super chat. Set.
Wait, did I say punched in the nose, or did I say, like, have, like, beaten with, like, multiple bones broken? Okay.
Yes, he doesn't think people should just get over their rape. I agree.
Oh,
with you.
nose
I don't
broken.
Think he thinks
Yeah.
that as well.
If you're talking about, like,
He was
breaking
just
bones and shit,
speculating
probably. Yeah.
on how two different people
Okay.
can possibly have
Getting
different
jumped?
reactions to
Yeah, I
being
don't know.
raped.
I feel like it's a little
agree
bit of
with
a
you.
ridiculous
I'm agreeing
characterization,
with
but
Destiny.
whatever.
I am agreeing with Destiny. I'm agreeing with Destiny. Can you hear me? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I am not saying that Destiny said that.
Okay, broken nose, gotcha.
Thank you, mods. Thank you. Thank you.
You said you'd rather get lightly
you.
slapped or raped than lightly slapped. True, based. Yes.
Okay. Does anyone want to talk about anything else? Super chat. Sorry if I took too long. Thanks for having me. No, that was great. That was wonderful. I just think it's really hard to have someone speak for Destiny. I understand why you guys thought he was hurt. But yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about, though? And by the way, this was a stream where I wanted to talk to my audience about the whole thing that happened, obviously. This is also a regular stream, though. I'm here for a while. So if we're done with this subject, we can go on. You know what I mean? Oh, super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, virtual gay man. Love that. Thank you.
I don't understand why you don't just call her privately on stream.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
How
Are
do
we
I
good on
call
this?
in? If you guys want to call in, you have to join Discord.
Okay. There's like, Jesus, there's like 2 hours left of our stream. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I love you all very much.